Li Mei's Sword of Destiny. Chapter 956. The immortal sense of immortal emperors was stored in the bodies of these geniuses. They could enter the city of ancient emperors, but they weren't allowed to break the rules of the city of ancient emperors. At the instant the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's immortal sense appeared, Emperor Might swept through the entire space. Kei Tianyi respectfully called out, "Master." "Master." Gusu Tianqi also called out, "We pay our respects to the immortal emperor." The people of the Dongshengshan Gate all had expressions of respect on their faces. The battle stopped as the experts of the Qin sect stared at the immortal emperor who appeared. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's gaze landed on Nam Huang Yunqi, as a faint pressure enveloped Nam Huang Yunqi. However, Nam Huang Yunqi was as cold and arrogant as ever. She stared at Kei Tianyi with disdain as she spoke, "Senior Eastern Sage, this personal disciple of yours isn't strong enough, yet he has no one in his eyes. Now that he was defeated, he actually forced out your immortal sense. Doesn't Senior feel that such a personal disciple is a loss of face?" "You..." Kei Tianyi pointed his finger at Nam Huang Yunqi. "My disciples haven't been in the city of ancient emperors for long. Even if they have offended you in any way, is there a need to be so ruthless?" The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor emotionlessly spoke. "Senior, why don't you ask your disciples what they did? When they just entered the city of ancient emperors, your disciples humiliated the disciples of my Qin sect and even wanted the sect leader of my Qin sect to come and see them. How tyrannical. However, they couldn't even withstand a single strike. Senior's reputation has already been thrown away by your disciples." Nam Huang Yunqi spoke in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. She stared at the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor as she spoke. "Are you a descendant of the Southern Phoenix matriarch of the Nam Huang clan?" The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor suddenly asked. When he first appeared and saw the phoenix silhouette on Nam Huang Yunqi's body, he had already guessed her identity. Now that he heard Nam Huang Yunqi's words, he was extremely disappointed with Kei Tianyi in his heart. If not for Kei Tianyi's good luck, he wouldn't have accepted him as a disciple. From a certain perspective, it was all thanks to Qin Wentian that Kei Tianyi was accepted as a personal disciple. "Yes," Nam Huang Yunqi replied. "Kei Tianyi, apologize." Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's imposing voice rang out, causing Kei Tianyi's expression to stiffen. He had also heard of the Nam Huang clan before, but he didn't expect that this supreme beauty before him was actually someone from the Nam Huang clan. Moreover, she was the descendant of the Southern Phoenix matriarch. Now his master, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, wanted him to apologize. "Give me some face. I'll ask my disciple to apologize and we'll drop the matter. How about that?" Dongsheng Heaven Emperor said to Nam Huang Yunqi. "If an apology is useful, what's the point of fighting?" Nam Huang Yunqi decisively rejected. "Since we are already in the city of ancient emperors, it's best that Senior doesn't interfere in the matters of the juniors. It would only damage Senior's face." The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's expression sank. Nam Huang Yunqi actually didn't give him, an immortal emperor, any face at all. "What do you want then?" the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor asked. "This disciple of yours humiliated a disciple of my Qin sect, and even injured a member of my sect. My cultivation base is the same as his, so this can't be considered bullying the weak. In addition, he is Senior's personal disciple. Senior shouldn't have any reason to stop me from fighting him, right?" Nam Huang Yunqi spoke with cold arrogance. Kei Tianyi's expression froze when he heard this. Before this, he had already fought against Nam Huang Yunqi, and it was clear that he was inferior to her. If they continued to fight, he would definitely be defeated. Also, this young woman before him definitely didn't simply want to defeat him. Just as they were speaking, a terrifying might gushed forth from the air, enveloping this entire space. A blurry face appeared in the air, peering down at the people below. "This is the city of ancient emperors. The rules cannot be broken. It's time for you to leave. I won't act in the city of ancient emperors and violate the rules here." The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor inclined his head and stared at the air. "Give me a little more time. I will leave after I ask a few questions." "Fine. Let them settle their grudges in the city of ancient emperors themselves. You are not to interfere." The voice drifted down. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor stared at Nam Huang Yunqi as he spoke. Since a descendant of the Southern Phoenix matriarch has joined, This sect must be extraordinary and should have some magnanimity. Why must you be so calculative with them, who have just entered the city of ancient emperors? In addition, my disciples all have immortal ranked weapons. If we really fought, I'm afraid there would be many casualties. Why must you do this? You truly think highly of your disciples. A voice drifted over from afar. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's eyes turned sharp as he turned his gaze over. After that, he saw a few figures walking over. The eyes of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor narrowed as a cold light flickered within. These people were actually Qin Wentian, Jun Mengchen, and Qing Er. There was no need to say anything more about Qin Wentian. Jun Mengchen had also publicly rejected his offer to become his disciple, causing him to lose face. The daughter of Chongqing the Great, Qing Er, was actually together with Qin Wentian. Ke Tianyi and Gusu Tianqi also saw the newcomers. Their gazes were filled with sharpness as they stared at Qin Wentian. Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, your character is terrible. Your disciples are similar to you as well. A bunch of scum who only know how to bully the weak. What a joke. Qin Wentian and the others flew over, standing in the air. Who the hell do you think you are? Do you have the qualifications to speak here? Ke Tianyi glanced at Qin Wentian. He was already feeling extremely sullen. Now this Qin Wentian even dared to humiliate him. How impudent! Qin Wentian stared at Ke Tianyi as a mocking smile appeared on his face. After that he walked forward and spoke. Trash, like you actually dared to speak so arrogantly? Back then when you and I participated in the disciple recruitment event of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor actually accepted you as his personal disciple. What a joke! Dongsheng Heaven Emperor turned his gaze onto Qin Wentian as a terrifying pressure gushed forth. Upon feeling this pressure, Qin Wentian laughed. What? Does the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor want to act against me in the city of ancient emperors? Do you have the qualifications to speak here? Dongsheng Heaven Emperor turned his gaze to Qin Wentian as he coldly spoke. Scram? Scram? Qin Wentian laughed. This place is the city of ancient emperors, not your Eastern Sage 13 prefectures. In the Eastern Sage 13 prefectures, you can use all sorts of despicable methods and no one would dare to say anything. But this place is the city of ancient emperors. Old dog Eastern Sage, boom! A violent might gushed forth, boring down on Qin Wentian. Impudent! A terrifying might gushed forth from the air, enveloping the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor as he spoke. Do you want me to invite you to leave? The gazes of everyone turned to Qin Wentian. This fellow actually had a grudge with the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, and actually dared to insult the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, calling him old dog Eastern Sage. This was a great disrespect, even daring to do this to an immortal emperor. This was simply too impudent. You are courting death. Ke Tianyi coldly stared at Qin Wentian. Shut up. Qin Wentian glanced at Ke Tianyi as coldness flashed in his eyes. His gaze was terrifying to the extreme as he stared at Ke Tianyi. For a character like you, killing you would only dirty my hands. It's just that you humiliated a member of my Qin sect. Ke Tianyi, your life is destined to remain in the city of ancient emperors. Since you are courting death, no one here can protect you. Qin sect? You are also a member of the Qin sect? The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor stared at him. After that, he turned to Namhuang Yunxi and spoke. This person's character isn't good, publicly insulting a senior. As a descendant of the Southern Phoenix matriarch, how can you accept such a person into your sect? Lashchinger, your father and I are good friends. It's best if you keep your distance from this person. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor stared at Qing Er as he spoke. Qing Er's countenance turned cold. She stared at the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor as she spoke. You are the most hypocritical person I've ever met. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor froze, but it wasn't good for him to act up. He could only reply, no matter what, you can be considered my niece. Maybe you might have some misunderstandings about me, but you have to know that I'm doing this for your own good. Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, there's no need for you to worry about the matters between us. This place is the city of ancient emperors. Your sect members are flaunting their prowess here. Even if they couldn't defeat you, they still chose to stand up. Such a character truly isn't good. How can the juniors respect them? Namhuang Yunxi coldly laughed. Also, Qin Wentian isn't a member of the Qin sect. He isn't. A look of bewilderment appeared on the face of Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. He is the sect leader of the Qin sect. Su Rushue, who was at the side, spoke. The geniuses of the Qin sect all turned their gazes to Qin Wentian as they asked, Sect leader, how should we deal with these arrogant members of the Dongshengshan Gate? Sect leader? The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor froze. Qin Wentian was actually the sect leader of the Qin sect? This is impossible. Kei Tiany's face turned ashen. He had already experienced the strength of the Qin sect. This was an extremely terrifying power. Even someone as powerful as Nam Huang Yunqi had joined them. How could Qin Wentian be the sect leader of the Qin sect? Old dog Eastern sage, you didn't expect this, right? Given the standard of your disciples, luckily me and senior brother Qin rejected you back then at the Dongshengshan Gate. If not, wouldn't we be the same as this person, nurtured into trash by you? Jun Mengchen pointed at Kei Tiany and laughed coldly. Your personal disciple doesn't even have the qualifications to carry my senior brother's shoes. You still dare to tell my senior brother to scram? Trash? Kei Tiany's aura gushed forth frenziedly as numerous cold moons engulfed the area. He stepped out, moving towards Qin Wentian as he roared in rage, Qin Wentian, I want to see what qualifications you have to strut around here. Qing'er's aura was ice cold. Just when she was about to step out, Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice, Qing'er, let me handle this. Qing'er halted her steps. After which she saw Qin Wentian stepping out as rumbling sounds rang out from his body. His aura was extremely shocking, and his entire body circulated with a brilliant battle light. Runic light illuminated the skies as a supreme suppressive might gushed forth, containing an incomparably violent aura. God's hand appeared. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with coldness as he stared at Kei Tiany walking over. Die! Kei Tiany roared. Beams of cold moons gushed forth, shooting towards Qin Wentian. However, Qin Wentian only lifted his palm and directly grabbed out. God's hand transformed into a gigantic palm that blotted out the sun, sweeping away all energy. A stifling pressure engulfed this entire space as thunderous rumbling sounds rang out. The cold moons were directly destroyed as the gigantic palm descended from the sky, grabbing towards Kei Tiany. At this instant, Kei Tiany felt like he was about to suffocate. Staring at the incoming God's hand, he felt a sense of helplessness. That terrifying suppressive might caused even his soul to tighten. Bang! Qin Wentian's palm slammed down, directly injuring Kei Tiany. Not only that, Kei Tiany was also trapped within the palm. At this moment, Qin Wentian's God's hand ignored the distance and directly grabbed Kei Tiany in the air. Kei Tiany let out a low-sounding roar. Yet he saw that Qin Wentian didn't even bother to glance at him. He was only staring at the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor as he spoke. Is this your personal disciple? Chapter 957. The sect leader of the Qin sect. Was it impossible? At this moment, Kei Tiany truly felt Qin Wentian's strength. That young man who stood arrogantly in the air, that lowly young man who once stared at him from below the stage, was now facing him with an unexcelled attitude. Back then, he was a character accepted by the Dongshengshan Gate as a personal disciple, while Qin Wentian was merely an abandoned person. The two of them should have continued to pull apart. The distance between them and Qin Wentian should have been destined to never be able to catch up to him. However, everything was turned upside down in a single strike. Although he was accepted as a personal disciple by the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, he was injured and captured by Qin Wentian with just a single strike. In addition, his cultivation base was already stronger than Qin Wentian. How intense was this humiliation? In fact, Qin Wentian didn't even glance at him, as though he was disdainful of him. In the eyes of Qin Wentian, he had never placed Kei Tiany in his heart. Everything was because of Kei Tiany's arrogance. The capital he was so proud of was simply not worth a mention in front of Qin Wentian. The Qin sect led by Qin Wentian was already strong enough to destroy the members of the Dongshengshan Gate. They weren't on the same level at all. In addition, this wasn't merely a humiliation to Kei Tiany, it was also a humiliation to the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. From a certain perspective, the humiliation to the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor was even more intense. Back then, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor rejected Qin Wentian as a personal disciple, and chose Kei Tiany instead. Now, such a battle was sufficient to become a joke in the immortal realms. You are too arrogant. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor stared at Qin Wentian. Also, the current you is still too weak. You should understand a logic. If you show off too much, you wouldn't have a good ending. A mocking smile appeared on Qin Wentian's face. Old dog Eastern Sage, are you threatening me? Since I dared to do this, it means that I don't care about it at all. Because I know very well that just because I smacked your face back then at the Dongshangshan Gate, even if you don't say anything, your lackeys at the Dongshangshan Gate would definitely not spare me. Your son Dongsheng Ting would definitely do everything in his power to kill me. Do you think I still need to care about your impression of me? No matter how good Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's self-restraint was, he couldn't hold back his anger at this moment. He stared at Qin Wentian as if he could explode at any time and kill Qin Wentian. Boom! A beam of destructive tribulation might descended from the sky, directly blasting into the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor, enveloping him completely. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor raised his head and looked into the void. A look of displeasure flashed in his eyes as he said coldly, I will walk on my own. No need, you have stayed here for too long. Since you are unwilling to leave, I can only ask you to leave. A voice rang out in the air. After that, a supreme tribulation might descended from the sky, slamming into Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's immortal sense. It contained a law energy, not allowing the immortal sense of an immortal emperor to remain in the city of ancient emperors for too long. The eyes of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor flashed with anger. His body gradually turned illusory as he stared at Qin Wentian. However, Qin Wentian only coldly spoke, Ke Tianyi insulted my Qin sect and injured a disciple of my Qin sect. Treat his death as a way to send you off. You dare. The body of the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor grew more and more blurry as a terrifying voice rang out from his mouth. Qin Wentian's palm imprint abruptly smashed downwards as a terrifying runic light enveloped Ke Tianyi, causing him to howl in unwillingness. Boom! At this moment, Ke Tianyi's eyes flickered with an uncontrollable terror. A beam of destructive light shot up into the sky, and after that, Ke Tianyi's body was reduced to dust. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's immortal sense watched this scene play out before his eyes. At this moment he didn't roar in anger, he only used his eyes to glance at Qin Wentian before vanishing completely from this world. The killing intent in that single glance was so intense. Even though he was disappointed in Ke Tianyi, Qin Wentian still dared to kill his disciple Ke Tianyi in front of him. Such an action was sufficient for Qin Wentian to die 10,000 times over. He really killed Qin Wentian. He actually killed the personal disciple of an immortal emperor. Before this, the geniuses in the city of ancient emperors had thought of all sorts of possibilities, but they didn't expect that Ke Tianyi would really die. Although he was arrogant and thought himself infallible, thinking that he was in the Dongshangshan Gate after entering the city of ancient emperors, it wasn't easy for someone with such an identity to die. When they fought against each other, they would always have some reservations and spare the lives of their opponents. But this time was different. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's immortal sense had already appeared, but he still couldn't prevent Ke Tianyi's death. In front of an immortal emperor, Qin Wentian actually killed his personal disciple. This madman. Everyone's impression of Qin Wentian deepened. No wonder he could become a character on the same level as Zi Daoyang and Mo Xia, one of the three geniuses of the city of ancient emperors. This young man truly couldn't be judged using common sense. After the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's immortal sense vanished, the energy in the air also gradually dissipated. The experts of the Dongshangshan Gate personally saw Qin Wentian killing Ke Tianyi. Their hearts were all pounding, and when Qin Wentian's gaze swept past them, all of them felt a faint sense of fear. The disciples of the Dongshangshan Gate are all very arrogant? Qin Wentian swept his gaze over these people. Maybe it was because they were used to living like royalty in the Eastern Sage 13 prefectures. After entering the city of ancient emperors, their attitude didn't change at all. They still had an arrogant attitude, but they didn't know that there were simply too many existences in the city of ancient emperors that could easily suppress them. Many of the disciples of the Dongshangshan Gate had seen Qin Wentian before. During the once-a-100-year grand ceremony, Qin Wentian had shaken the entire platform, using an unexcelled manner to obtain the position of the top ranker, accomplishing the impossible. Under Dongsheng Ting's rules, everyone shut their mouths. Only a few years had passed, but he no longer shone brightly on the stage of the Dongshangshan Gate. He had already shone with his own brilliance in the city of ancient emperors. Staring at the figure standing proudly in the air, the geniuses of the Dongshengshan Gate all felt a sense of defeat. Could they really be considered geniuses in front of this young man? Gusu Tianqi's state of heart fluctuated greatly. He had never expected that Qin Wentian had already become so powerful. Kei Tianyi couldn't even withstand a single strike. If he fought against Qin Wentian, he most probably wouldn't be able to perform any better than Kei Tianyi. After so many years, if they fought again, would the only ending for him be insta-killed? What do you want? A person stared at Qin Wentian as he coldly spoke. Before this, other than Kei Tianyi and that blind man, did anyone else humiliate the disciples of my Qin sect? Qin Wentian stared at Lung Pingchao as he asked. Nope, but they all seemed to be very satisfied earlier. Lung Pingchao coldly replied. Qin Wentian nodded his head lightly. After which, he continued. Since these people were so arrogant, disciples of the Qin sect, teach them a good lesson. Although all of you are disciples of the Dongshengshan Gate, there's no life and death hatred between us. Seeing that it wasn't easy for all of you to cultivate, I won't kill you this time around. But if in the future, all of you represent the Dongshengshan Gate and act against me, wanting my life, I won't show mercy. Qin Wentian wasn't a bloodthirsty person. Even if the people before him were disciples of the Dongshengshan Gate, he wouldn't kill them all. This was Qin Wentian's principle of doing things. The disciples of the Dongshengshan Gate heaved a sigh of relief and gave up on the thought of fighting with their lives on the line. After which, the disciples of the Qin sect all stepped forward, and an overwhelming battle erupted. The disciples of the Dongshengshan Gate had no heart to continue fighting, and in addition to the fact that they were weak, how could they contend against the Qin sect? Very swiftly, they were injured one after another, and all the treasures on them were plundered clean. The spectators all drew in a breath of cold air when they saw this scene. These people of the Qin sect were truly a bunch of bandits. Not long after, Qin Wentian and the rest left, leaving behind the disciples of the Dongshengshan Gate with their heads hung low. Injuries could be seen all over their bodies, and their eyes flickered with anger and reluctance. However, they were helpless. Although they were lofty in the Dongshengshan Gate in the city of ancient emperors, it was basically impossible for them to contend against the Qin sect, which was under the control of Qin Wentian. In the eastern Sage 13 prefectures, on a misty immortal mountain, there was a majestic emperor palace. The people here, even the ordinary guards, were all at the immortal foundation realm. This place was none other than the immortal palace where the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor resided. The commands issued from here could be directly transmitted to the Dongshengshan Gate and be executed. In front of a majestic ancient palace, many figures could be seen. All of them were seated cross-legged and were incomparably quiet. It was impossible to imagine that these people were all immortal kings, but right now, they were all respectfully sitting there, quietly listening to the Tao discussion of a young man before them. That unexcelled figure was none other than the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. At this instant, the voice of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor abruptly halted, as though the melody of the great Tao had been interrupted. An incomparably intense fluctuation gushed forth from the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor as a stifling pressure gushed forth. The countenances of those immortal kings drastically changed as they opened their eyes, staring at the figure in front of them. What happened? Your Majesty! Someone called out. At this moment, the eyes of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor abruptly snapped open, gleaming with a cold light that could penetrate through the heavens and earth. The people in front of him all trembled as they bowed. Your Majesty, please calm your anger. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor finally retracted his aura and calmed down. He drew in a deep breath as he spoke. Kei Tianyi has been killed. As the sound of his voice faded, the entire crowd was shocked. Among these immortal kings, the scarce moon immortal king was one of them. His aura fluctuated violently as his countenance drastically changed. Ever since Kei Tianyi entered the tutelage of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, the relationship between his scarce moon immortal manner and the Dongshengshan Gate was extremely close. In fact, he himself would often come to the Emperor Palace to listen to the Tao lectures of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. The scarce moon immortal manor and the Dongshengshan Gate were tightly bound together. In addition, they treated Kei Tianyi as their hope. Right now, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor said that Kei Tianyi had been killed by someone. In the city of ancient emperors, that traitor Qin Wentian killed Ke Tianyi right in front of the eyes of this seat's immortal sense. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor slowly spoke. His voice seemed to have calmed down, yet the expressions of everyone here were filled with terror. It was as though they could sense the current state of the heart of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor from the calmness of his voice. Pass down my command. Gather all the outstanding geniuses at the 9th level of celestial phenomenon at the Dongshengshan Gate. Tell them to come here. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor coldly spoke, his words causing the hearts of everyone to tremble violently. The immortal emperor was truly enraged. Chapter 958. In the city of ancient emperors, the disciples of the Dongshengshan Gate all had dispirited looks on their faces. All the treasures on them had been plundered clean, and all of them were injured to varying degrees. This was a great humiliation. However, they didn't have the slightest bit of anger. The reason why they were still alive was because Qin Wentian felt pity for them. If Qin Wentian gave the order to kill them, they would already be dead by now. How cruel was this? No one would think that Qin Wentian didn't dare to kill them. Qin Wentian had already killed Ke Tianyi in front of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. Why would he care about killing a few more? If he didn't kill them, it could only be because he didn't want to. The young man who had once participated in the recruitment test at the Dongshengshan Gate was already someone who controlled their fate in the city of ancient emperors. He was the arrogant leader of the Qin sect, and the people of the Dongshengshan Gate couldn't even withstand a single strike from him. The moment they entered the city of ancient emperors, Qin Wentian had already taught them an unforgettable lesson. Most probably, they wouldn't be able to forget this lesson for the rest of their lives. This group of geniuses seemed to have lost all signs of life. They casually strolled about in the city of ancient emperors, and at this moment, a figure appeared in the air before them. This person's entire body was pitch black, and there was a faint golden glow radiating from him. The aura he exuded was extremely sharp, and it was as though he was an extremely dangerous character. The people of the Dongshengshan Gate no longer dared to underestimate the geniuses of the city of ancient emperors. They stared at the figure in the air only to see the figure slowly descending from the sky with his hands clasped behind his back. His dark golden eyes were extremely terrifying as he stared at them. Were you all humiliated by the Qin sect? Gusu Tianqi inclined his head and stared at the person who just arrived. This has nothing to do with you, right? The person before him had a cold smile on his face as he spoke. I just so happen to want to establish a sect. In the future, all of you can follow me. Arrogant. The people of Dongshengshan Gate all stared at the silhouette floating in front of them. Another arrogant person. With just a word, he wanted the geniuses of Dongshengshan Gate to follow him? Although we were defeated, that doesn't mean we are weak. Why should we follow you? One of them asked in a cold tone. The anger they had been suppressing seemed like it would erupt at any moment. Why? That person coldly laughed. Don't you guys feel that right now in the city of ancient emperors, all of you are so lowly and lowly? But I, Moxie, can allow you guys to live proudly in the city of ancient emperors. I, Moxie, can bestow glory upon all of you. The figure that appeared was none other than Moxie. His eyes gleamed with sharpness as he flew towards the people of the Dongshengshan Gate. A fearsome aura gushed forth from him, causing everyone to feel how powerful he was. Gusu Tianqi's countenance drastically changed as he stared at Moxie. Qin Wentian alone is sufficient to cause all of you to lose all face. As long as he's here, all of you will never be able to lift your heads up high in the city of ancient emperors. As for me, I alone am sufficient to intimidate the entire Qin sect. Moxie's silhouette was incomparably arrogant. He appeared before Gusu Tianqi and stretched his palms out. Instantly, Gusu Tianqi only felt a stifling pressure boring down on him. That fearsome aura was so heavy that he couldn't even breathe. Boom! Gusu Tianqi released his constellation as a sun furnace appeared. Blazing flames towered up into the sky. Moxie inclined his head. His dark golden eyes were incomparably terrifying as he stared at the numerous suns. Numerous sun spears shot towards him. Moxie stretched his hands out in the air as a terrifying dark golden palm imprint directly grabbed hold of the sun spears, shattering them apart. With a thunderous boom, the sun furnace was overturned by the palm imprint as terrifying flames ravaged the surroundings. At the same time, Moxia stood before Gusu Tianqi as he spoke. In front of me, even Qin Wentian could only flee for his life. How can all of you be my opponent? Follow me or die. As the sound of Moxia's voice faded, a destructive might enveloped everyone from the Dongshengshan Gate. It was as though he alone was enough to annihilate all the geniuses before him. Gusu Tianqi stared at the dark golden eyes of Moxia. He finally understood why the geniuses of the immortal realms would come to the city of ancient emperors to temper themselves. Only in this place would they be able to see the most outstanding geniuses. Only in this place would they not be frogs at the bottom of a well, thinking that their talent was unrivaled under the heavens. Moxia recruited these people from the Dongshengshan Gate, who were humiliated by the Qin sect, into his subordinates. Not only so, after that, news of Moxia establishing his own sect circulated around the city of ancient emperors, and many people rushed over to join him. This was Moxia, the number 2 ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings. He was a character even stronger than Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi. Why was the Violet sect so powerful? It was because they had the number 1 ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings, Zi Daoyang. And now Moxia had established his own power, and named it the Evil Palace. The rise of the Evil Palace was already destined. In a short span of a few days, the Evil Palace had already gathered over 100 geniuses. Among them, there were no lack of rankers on the Immortal Ascension rankings, and all of them were extremely ruthless. This caused people to think of the declining Twin Stars Alliance. Because the Twin Stars Alliance and Qin Wentian were enemies, and they had once lost to Qin Wentian, they were destined to become the background for Qin Wentian's rise. The new 3 major powers in the city of ancient emperors had officially stepped onto the stage, forming a tripartite balance of power. These 3 major powers were respectively Zi Daoyang's Violet sect, Moxia's Evil Palace, and Qin Wentian's Qin sect. These 3 major powers included the top 5 rankers on the Immortal Ascension rankings. This was the first time such a grand event had occurred in the city of ancient emperors. Moxia establishing the Evil Palace formed a formless pressure on the Qin sect. News had long circulated in the city of ancient emperors that Qin Wentian had snatched away the inheritance that should have belonged to Moxia. After that, he had joined forces with Nam Huang Yunxi and Princess Qi to injure and force Moxia into retreat. Undoubtedly, this had offended Moxia to the extreme. Many people guessed that the reason Moxia had established the Evil Palace, and had even recruited those people from the Dongshengshan Gate, was precisely because of the Qin sect. At this moment in the Qin sect behind the waterfall there was a beautiful scenery. The main characters of the Qin sect were all here. Qin Wentian, Qing'er, Nam Huang Yunxi, Jun Mengchen, Zi Qingxian, Hua Taishu, Su Rushue, Li Yu, and the others were seated in a circle. Li Yu spoke. Today, there's news that the Evil Palace has already gathered 120 geniuses. Ever since the fight for the inheritance, there's no news of Moxia at all. He should have been in closed-door seclusion for a period of time, and now that he has appeared, he immediately made this move. There's a high possibility that he's targeting all of you. Evidently, the Qin sect felt a sense of pressure. Although they were powerful, they weren't invincible in the city of ancient emperors. Before this, they could disregard the disciples of the Dongshengshan Gate led by K. Tianyi. But Moxia's existence was something they couldn't ignore. This was especially so now that Moxia had established the Evil Palace. Qin Wentian and the others could also sense that the Qin sect was targeting them. Back then they had injured Moxia. Given Moxia's personality, he would definitely not let the matter rest so easily. Qin Wentian nodded. He then turned to Nam Huang Yunxi and asked, Nanfeng, do you have any thoughts? The Qin sect should continue to recruit disciples. Moxia's influence is extremely strong, and I heard that many rankers on the Immortal Ascension rankings have joined the Evil Palace, Nam Huang Yunxi replied. Seems like the geniuses in the city of ancient emperors aren't willing to just be spectators in the storm. They want to have a foot in it as well. Since this is the case, let's expand our recruitment as well. Since a conflict is unavoidable, let's face it head on. Qin Wentian nodded. Rushue, Liu, Taishu, I'll leave this matter to the 3 of you. In addition, inform the disciples of the Qin sect to keep a low profile during this period of time. Don't expose yourself so easily. You mean he? Liu's gaze froze as he stared at Qin Wentian. Although nothing has happened yet, it's still necessary to take precautions. Qin Wentian spoke. Understood. Liu nodded. Sect leader. At this moment, a voice drifted over from afar. Qin Wentian directly asked, "What's the matter?" One of the brothers guarding the underworld mountains sent a message. Zidaoyang finished his cultivation 2 days ago and obtained the Brahma Heavenly Emperor's inheritance. However, he didn't come out immediately and chose to guard the mountain for 2 days. Today, he finally exited the underworld mountains. That voice drifted over from afar, causing the countenances of the crowd to turn as sharp lights gleamed in their eyes. Zidaoyang had exited the underworld mountains. He was the number 1 ranker on the Immortal Ascension rankings, and he had also obtained one of the 9 inheritances of the Brahma Heavenly Emperor. His strength would definitely rise to another level, and the threat he posed would definitely not be any weaker than Emosia. Got it. Thanks for the hard work, Qin Wentian replied. After which, that person departed. Now that Zidaoyang has exited the underworld mountains, the city of ancient emperors has become even more chaotic. Just like what the people in the city of ancient emperors are saying, a tripartite confrontation is about to take place, Liu spoke. Qin Wentian nodded. That's only natural. Zidaoyang and Emosia both obtained the Brahma Heavenly Emperor's inheritance, and they're destined to stand against each other. My companion Little Rascal also obtained one of the inheritances. The 3 major powers are already destined to be enemies. Haha, how interesting. I didn't expect that the top 5 rankers of the Immortal Ascension rankings would create such a situation. I'm really filled with anticipation to see who would be the one standing at the peak, laughing arrogantly at the top of the city of ancient emperors. Liu laughed uproariously. He was truly filled with anticipation in his heart. Very swiftly, news circulated around the city of ancient emperors. After Zidaoyang learned of the strength of the Qin sect and the evil palace, he decided to reform the Violet sect and invited the geniuses of the city of ancient emperors to join them. Not long after, another shocking piece of news circulated. The Twin Stars Alliance had officially split up. Xiaoling Yue seemed to know that it would be impossible for her to stand against Qin Wentian and the Qin sect by staying with Xianyang. Hence, she chose to give up on Xianyang and led some of the old members of the Xiao sect to join the Violet sect. In an extremely short period of time, the strength of the Violet sect underwent a transformation. Right now, the busybodies in the city of ancient emperors were all discussing the rankings of the Qin sect, the Violet sect, and the evil palace. Who was stronger and who was weaker? Chapter 959. The Violet sect, Evil Palace, Qin sect. These 3 major powers rose higher and higher, growing stronger and stronger. Just when they were accumulating their strength, in the outskirts of the city of ancient emperors, in the air above the city of ancient emperors, numerous beams of light suddenly shot down from the heavens, rumbling as they landed on the ground. Thunderous booms shook the heavens and earth, as though there was an earthquake. The entire area was filled with dust, so much so that one couldn't even see the silhouettes clearly. After a long time, when the dust finally settled, numerous silhouettes appeared. There were people everywhere, and with a single glance one could see that there were actually people everywhere. Bzzz, 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 bzzz. 4 silhouettes shot out consecutively, landing in the air, each standing in a different direction. In an instant, the experts below all flickered and soared into the air, standing behind the 4 silhouettes. In the blink of an eye, 4 terrifying formations were formed. If one were to carefully count, they would discover that each of these 4 camps had a total of 81 people. In total, there were a total of 364 people, and each of them had a cultivation base at the 9th level of celestial phenomenon. How terrifying was this? Move out. The 4 in the lead all exuded an extraordinary aura. Exuding a powerful aura. One of them spoke, and a moment later, this group of people flew towards the city. Everywhere they passed by, the passers-by all felt their hearts trembling. There were so many experts. Are these people from a major power? A genius asked in a low voice, feeling somewhat bewildered. The city of ancient emperors was different from other places. The people who came here were all descendants of immortal kings and emperors, and it was very rare for a major power to send out all their celestial phenomenon disciples. But there were over 300 people here, and all of them were at the 9th level of celestial phenomenon. This was clearly an army of celestial phenomenon ascendants. Evidently, they came here with a purpose. If not, they wouldn't do this. Where did these people come from exactly? They came from the Dongshengshan Gate. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor personally issued a command, summoning all the 9th level ascendants of the Dongshengshan Gate. This command instantly swept through 7 prefectures of the Eastern Sage 13 prefectures. The Dongshengshan Gate has been operating in the Eastern Sage 13 prefectures for countless years, and they have many immortal kings, let alone 9th level ascendants. Among them, the Dongshengshan Gate chose over 300 people and led them to the Emperor Palace where the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor resided. As for the 4 people in the lead, their statuses were all extraordinary. They were the personal disciples of paragons under the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, and all of them were at the 9th level of celestial phenomenon. They only had a single purpose in coming to the city of ancient emperors, to kill Qin Wentian, uprooting the Qin sect from the roots. The rage of an immortal emperor was not something that could be easily endured. And at this moment, Qin Wentian still had no idea that an army was heading towards the city of ancient emperors to deal with him. He naturally knew of the rage of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, but he didn't expect that the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's rage would come so quickly, directly mobilizing the celestial phenomenon ascendants from the Dongshengshan Gate to enter the city of ancient emperors. In the Qin sect, Qin Wentian received a piece of news. Little rascal had comprehended the Brahma Heavenly Emperor's inheritance and was already out. Only to see at this moment, Qin Wentian soared up into the air. He stared at the disciples of the Qin sect and spoke in a clear voice, "Disciples of the Qin sect, prepare to move out." As the sound of his voice faded, numerous figures soared up into the air. These were all geniuses of the Qin sect, and they stared at Qin Wentian with bewilderment in their eyes. They didn't know why Qin Wentian summoned everyone from the Qin sect. "Everyone, prepare for battle," Qin Wentian spoke. After which, he turned to Qing'er beside him and commanded, "Qing'er, take out a spatial treasure and bring the disciples of the Qin sect to the underworld mountains." Immediately. "Right." Qing'er lightly nodded her head. With a wave of her hand, a spatial-type treasure appeared. It was a gigantic leaf that contained terrifying spatial energy. "Everyone follow me." Qin Wentian and Qing'er stepped onto the spatial treasure. The geniuses of the Qin sect also stepped onto it, but they still had no idea what was going on. But since Qin Wentian had mobilized so many people, they could faintly sense that the opponent this time around was either Zi Daoyang's Violet sect or Mosie's Evil Palace. Other than these 2 powers, there were no other powers in the city of ancient emperors that could make Qin Wentian mobilize so many people. Terrifying spatial fluctuations gushed forth, and the gigantic leaf was like a flying boat, directly disappearing from the airspace above the Qin sect, traversing a great distance. Within the underworld mountains, in the passageway between the 2 cavern dwellings, a group of figures could be seen. These people were all from the same power, and the person in the lead was none other than Zi Daoyang. In front of Zi Daoyang, there was an incomparably gigantic and baleful demonic beast. The head of this demonic beast was glowing with a golden light, and its eyes gleamed with a cold light that could freeze the souls of those who saw it. Low growls could be heard coming from its mouth as it stared fixedly at Zi Daoyang. "I've already waited for you for a long time. Who would have thought that you would be so powerful the moment you obtained the inheritance? How shocking. However, all of this shall be mine." Zi Daoyang's constellation shone brightly in the sky, resembling the silhouette of a divinity. His entire body circulated with a brilliant light, resembling a picture of a heaven-devouring diagram that could devour all living things. Zi Daoyang lifted his palms and attacked. A gigantic violet palm imprint appeared in the air, shining with divine might. The violet light from the palm imprint illuminated the demonic beast, exuding an unexcelled might. Roar! That powerful demonic beast let out an earth-shattering roar. A divine glow appeared around it, enveloping its gigantic body, making it indestructible. Boom! Zi Daoyang coldly snorted as the violet palm imprint blasted onto the barrier, causing cracks to appear on it. Zi Daoyang coldly snorted as he stepped forward. Stretching out his palm, a gigantic palm of darkness blasted onto the barrier. Boundless runic light circulated within his palm, as the energy within the barrier slowly flowed into his body. The members of the violet sect surrounded the demonic beast, sealing it completely. All of this was for the sake of Zi Daoyang seizing the inheritance of this demonic beast. Zi Daoyang was originally the #1 ranker on the Immortal Ascension rankings. How tyrannical was his strength! Not only that, he had also obtained a part of the Brahma Heavenly Emperor's inheritance. If he could obtain another inheritance, his strength would surely grow even stronger. Precisely because of this, Zi Daoyang had made ample preparations during these few days. As soon as there was a commotion in the underworld mountains, he immediately appeared. Within the barrier of light, Little Rascal's howl of rage shook the heavens and earth. He slashed out with his sharp claws, and similarly, intense runic light flashed, capable of devouring the heavens and devouring the earth. The power of the two of them seemed to be able to penetrate through the barrier of light, and it was extremely terrifying. I didn't expect a vile beast like you to be so powerful. If it wasn't for the sake of seizing your inheritance, I would have made you my mount, Zi Daoyang coldly spoke. Zi Daoyang coldly spoke. Lifting his left hand, violet light converged into the form of a violet sword. Divine light flashed in the air, causing the violet sword to contain a sharpness that seemed capable of annihilating everything in its path. The violet sword slashed out, penetrating through the barrier of light and piercing towards Little Rascal's gigantic body. Little Rascal howled in rage as his other golden claw slammed out, blocking the violet sword. However, the violet sword seemed to be able to penetrate through all defenses, directly piercing into that incomparably tough claw. Fresh blood flowed from Little Rascal's claw as he let out a shrill howl of agony. An intense beam of light flashed as incomparably terrifying spatial fluctuations gushed forth. After which an explosive roar shook the heavens and earth. Release him! As this roar of rage echoed out, a god's palm slashed down from the sky. This was none other than Qin Wentian's all-annihilating god's hand. Zi Daoyang waved his left hand as the violet sword slashed towards the sky, colliding with the god's hand. A terrifying boom rang out as the palm imprint shattered apart. At the same time, the violet sword vanished from sight. Numerous gigantic palm imprints descended from the sky, containing supreme divine might that could suppress everything. Zi Daoyang retreated as he stared at the descending figures in the air. He saw Qin Wentian standing arrogantly in the air, with the experts of the Qin sect behind him. A terrifying coldness flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes. Evidently, he wasn't the only one paying attention to the movements in the underworld mountains. He, Zi Daoyang, and Mo Xie, who had yet to reveal himself, should all be paying attention to this place. However, Qin Wentian didn't expect Zi Daoyang to be so fast. He must have used some sort of treasure. During the period of time I obtained the inheritance of the Brahma Heavenly Emperor, I heard that your fame has soared in the city of ancient emperors, and that you established the Qin sect. However, does this give you the confidence to contend against me? Zi Daoyang exuded an incomparably arrogant aura. He was the top ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings, and no one could contend against him. Roar! Little Rascal roared at him. After which, it soared up into the air, landing beside Qin Wentian as it coldly stared at Zi Daoyang. This vile beast is truly not bad. I can't even bear to kill it, Zi Daoyang faintly spoke. Nanfeng and Qing Er are here as well. Qing Er's countenance turned cold as she icily replied, I don't know you. In the future, when I go and meet Uncle Evergreen, little sister Qing Er will naturally recognize me. Zi Daoyang continued, Qin Wentian, on account of little sister Qing Er, I don't wish to make things difficult for you. You guys can leave first. This demonic beast is mine for sure. With me here it's impossible, Qin Wentian replied. Do you really think you can obstruct me? Leaving aside the fact that you're only at the 8th level of celestial phenomenon, so what if you're at the 9th level? Even if you're ranked number 4, the disparity between you and the top ranker is still something you can't imagine. Zi Daoyang's body glowed with a powerful violet light as his aura surged to the extreme. His divinity-like constellation shone with a surging violet light. This is Zidi's ultimate violet saint immortal art. It contains boundless might, allowing one's attacks to reach the pinnacle, possessing the strongest attack power. It's one of Zidi's 2 ultimate arts. Namhuang Yunqi transmitted her voice to Qin Wentian, as though reminding Qin Wentian to treat this seriously. As the sound of her voice faded, she and Qing Er walked to the side of Qin Wentian. wanting to fight alongside Qin Wentian. Back then, the three of them had joined forces to injure Mo Xie. Zi Daoyang's strength wasn't inferior to Mo Xie's, but as for how strong he was now, they would only know after they fought. Chapter 960. Zi Daoyang stared at the three before him, after which, his eyes landed on Qing Er as he spoke. Little sister Qing Er, if I fight against you, how am I going to explain this to Uncle Evergreen when I meet him in the future? Qing Er's countenance was ice cold. She ignored Zidong. However, Zi Daoyang then turned to Qin Wentian. Don't you feel any shame for doing this? When I entered the city of ancient emperors, you were already the #1 ranker on the Immortal Ascension rankings. But at that time I was only at the 7th level of celestial phenomenon. You proclaim yourself to be unrivaled in the city of ancient emperors. Could it be that you want me to fight you one-on-one? Qin Wentian stared at Zi Daoyang as he spoke. After I break through to the 9th level of celestial phenomenon, I will naturally have a fair battle with you. Zidong laughed in disdain. After which, he spoke, bring a few people to restrain Qing Er. I don't wish to fight against her. Leave Qin Wentian and the Southern Phoenix sect to me. When I wasn't around, I heard that the Qin sect dared to claim to be the #1 sect in the city of ancient emperors. Now that my Violet sect is here, let's show everyone who is the #1 sect in the city of ancient emperors. As the sound of his voice faded, those from the Violet sect and the Qin sect all unleashed their terrifying auras. In just an instant, a terrifying tempest engulfed the area, as though a chaotic battle was about to take place. The violet light radiating from Zi Daoyang illuminated the skies. The boundless violet light transformed into an indomitable sharp sword that abruptly slashed out. This violet sword seemed to contain the strongest attack power, capable of annihilating everything. It was truly indomitable as it slashed down at the center of Qin Wentian and Qing Er. Qin Wentian and Qing Er dodged to the sides. Zi Daoyang stepped out and blasted out with his palms. Boundless violet light transformed into a towering palm imprint, causing the heavens and earth to rumble. That violet palm imprint was incomparably indestructible, as though it contained the strongest attack power in the world. Qin Wentian's body rumbled as it expanded in size. His entire body circulated with a dazzling luster, as though there were countless runic inscriptions circulating around him. Taking a step out, it was as though he had a supreme physique, possessing the power to suppress everything. His constellation enveloped his entire body as a terrifying light radiated from him. Yet in front of the violet palm imprint, it couldn't even withstand a single strike. Boom! Qin Wentian's god's hand blasted out, containing a heaven-shaking might within as it collided with the violet palm imprint. The two forces intersected, causing many to turn their gazes over. The ultimate Violet Saint Immortal art was said to be a supremely powerful attack, while God's Hand was an ultimate art created by ancient Emperor Yi. This was a clash of the strongest attacks. A thunderous boom rang out as the palm imprint shattered apart. The hearts of the spectators trembled. Seems like the power of ancient Emperor Yi's ultimate art, God's Hand, was still stronger than Qin Wentian. The reason why their attacks were on par was because Zi Daoyang's cultivation base was a notch higher compared to Qin Wentian. On the other side, Xiao Lingyue led her people to block Qing Er. For experts surrounded Qing Er and fought against her, isolating her from Qin Wentian. Nam Huang Yunxi appeared beside Qin Wentian. Her entire body was bathed in the shadow of the ancient phoenix, emitting a brilliant red glow. She stabbed out with her finger, causing the cry of a fire phoenix to echo out as it shot towards Zi Daoyang. Zi Daoyang coldly snorted. His constellation shone with boundless light as he stabbed out with his finger. A moment later, a screen of light appeared in the air, containing a supreme might that swallowed the fire phoenix. Go back! Zi Daoyang coldly snorted. With a towering roar, the fire phoenix retreated, flying towards Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi. Nam Huang Yunxi's countenance changed. She stabbed out with her finger as another fire phoenix manifested. The two phoenixes collided in the air, emitting shrill screeches as they exploded simultaneously. Today, being able to experience ZD's two ultimate arts, the ultimate Violet Saint Immortal art and the Thousand Autumns Emperor's art, is truly an incomparably honor. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke. The ultimate Violet Saint Immortal art was an invincible attack, while the Thousand Autumns Emperor's art was extremely miraculous. Not only could it defend against powerful attacks, it could even convert them into its own. This was even more miraculous compared to the Xian Emperor's heavenly mystic mirror art. Hence, Xianyang wasn't even worthy of a mention in front of Zidaoyang. Naturally, when compared to the Xian Emperor, Zidi wasn't a character on the same level. Zidi was a peak-level immortal emperor in the immortal realms. Nanfeng, ordinary attacks are completely useless against me. The two of you aren't my match, Zidaoyang spoke arrogantly. After that, he stepped out and spoke in a cold voice, "None of you can obstruct me." As the sound of his voice faded, violet chi towered up into the sky. Boundless violet light gushed forth, converging on Zidaoyang. It was as though the violet chi had descended from the east. A supreme might gushed forth from Zidaoyang as he blasted out with his palms. An incomparably gigantic violet palm manifested, capable of annihilating everything in its path. Qin Wentian unleashed his strength to the extreme. Rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly as his body expanded in size once more. The divine energy in his body seethed as God's hand once again blasted out, blotting out the sky. It collided with the gigantic violet palm imprint in the air, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. However, it seemed as though the two gigantic palm imprints wouldn't shatter at all. Zidaoyang laughed in disdain. I wonder if the Brahma Heavenly Emperor's inheritance would be able to devour the power of God's hand as well. As the sound of his voice faded, layers of terrifying black runic light circulated around his gigantic violet palm, transforming into a fearsome vortex that sucked in the power of God's hand. That gigantic violet palm seemed to transform into an abyss as God's hand sank in bit by bit, wanting to devour Qin Wentian's entire arm. Zidaoyang's eyes flashed with a dazzling light. Roar! A heaven-shaking roar rang out as a gigantic baleful demonic beast lunged over, its sharp claws grabbing out at Zidaoyang's head. That invincible might made people feel that if Zidaoyang's head was struck by it, it would instantly explode. It was simply too terrifying. Zidaoyang coldly laughed. Stretching out his left hand, he made a grabbing motion in the air. A gigantic violet palm descended from the skies, transforming into a prison that directly locked the body of the gigantic demonic beast in the air. However, the gigantic demonic beast opened its jaws wide and bit down, devouring the violet palm imprint. Nam Huang Yunqi's body became incomparably beautiful. She was bathed in boundless flames as she slowly walked towards Zidong. Her silhouette flickered like an ancient phoenix, and a phoenix sword slashed down, tearing apart the sky as a red beam of light shot down from the heavens. It's useless, Zidaoyang roared. His Thousand Autumns Emperor's art was unleashed as boundless light appeared before him. The phoenix sword slashed onto the light screen, imprinting an incomparably resplendent runic light onto it. Go! Zidaoyang roared. The imprinted sword slashed out, aiming for Nam Huang Yunqi, using Nam Huang Yunqi's own attack to deal with her. Thousand Autumns Emperor's art. Nam Huang Yunqi's countenance was extremely unsightly to behold. She once again used the same attack to destroy the energy she blasted out. She had the ability to break through Xianyang's heavenly mystic mirror art. Hence she was ranked number 3 in the Immortal Ascension rankings. Xianyang was only ranked number 4. But against Zidaoyang, who was ranked number 1, Nam Huang Yunqi clearly found it extremely taxing. This fellow is so powerful. Jun Mingchen, Hua Taishu and Zi Qingxian joined forces. Right now their cultivation bases were the same, at the 8th level of celestial phenomenon, but their combat prowess was extremely terrifying. This was especially so when they joined forces. Even an ordinary 9th level ascendant would be swiftly suppressed by them. But although they were powerful, they were still far from sufficient to deal with characters of Zidaoyang's level. Being able to rank number 1 in the City of Ancient Emperors, Zidaoyang could already be considered one of the most supreme geniuses in the entire immortal realms. He's indeed very powerful. His offense and defense are simply unfathomable, and now, he even obtained an inheritance of the Brahma Heavenly Emperor. Zi Qingxian spoke in a low voice. The experts of the Qin sect and the Violet sect had already erupted into a great battle. The area outside the cavern of the two ancient emperors had become a battlefield, with violent currents of qi churning about. And at this moment, in another location in the distance, a group of experts similarly arrived. These experts all exuded a cold aura, as though they were all ruthless characters. The young man in the lead had a pair of dark golden eyes that seemed capable of penetrating through space. He quietly stood on the mountain peak with his hands clasped behind his back. "Palace Lord, are we still not going to kill our way over?" someone asked the young man in the lead. "There's no rush. The strength of the Qin sect isn't weak. Qin Wentian, Nam Huang Yunqi and Qing'er are all extremely powerful. Even if Zi Daoyang wanted to capture them, he would have to pay a price. Just wait and see." Monsieur emotionlessly spoke. After which, his dark golden eyes closed as if he, Monsieur, had nothing to do with this matter. Behind Monsieur stood the experts of the evil palace he'd established. These people were all prepared for a great battle at any moment, and they were prepared to engage in a grand battle. The battle in the underworld mountains was extremely sudden. The moment Little Rascal appeared, the battle had already erupted. Zi Daoyang led the experts of the Violet sect, while Qin Wentian led the experts of the Qin sect. The people of the City of Ancient Emperors didn't even know of this, and only now did the news of this battle gradually spread out. The experts of the Violet sect, Qin sect and Evil Palace had all vanished, all heading towards the underworld mountains. It seemed like the most powerful battle in the entire City of Ancient Emperors would erupt there. For a period of time, the wind and clouds churned as experts from all directions headed towards the underworld mountains. In the City of Ancient Emperors, over 300 experts were heading towards the location of the Qin sect, attracting the attention of many. They rode on their speed-type treasures and arrived at the Qin sect, only to discover that there wasn't a single person in the Qin sect. It was completely empty. "Not here." The four people in the lead frowned. Their gazes swept over to the geniuses in the distance as they roared, "Stop right there." That genius inclined his head and stared at the experts in the air as his heart trembled. Where did the people of the Qin sect go? A voice rang out in the air. That person's eyes flickered as he replied, "There seems to be a huge commotion in the underworld mountains. Qin Wentian might have led the people of the Qin sect to the underworld mountains. Come up and lead the way," the expert in the air coldly commanded. That expert in the air coldly spoke. That person's countenance stiffened. After that, he could sense an overwhelming might gushing towards him. He could only nod his head. "Fine." After speaking, he soared up into the air, but in his heart, he was silently speculating which power these people belonged to. Chapter 961. In the underworld mountain battlefield, Zi Daoyang was fighting against Qin Wentian, Nam Huang Yunqi, and Little Rascal. The experts of the Qin sect were fighting against the experts of the Violet sect. Mountains crumbled unceasingly, and cracks appeared on the ground. Thunderous booms rang out, shaking the heavens and earth. Zi Daoyang and the others were in the center of the battlefield. The violet palm imprint clashed against Qin Wentian's God's hand, wanting to engulf the power of God's hand into the abyss of darkness. However, at this moment, Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with a terrifying light. Runic light radiated from his body, intertwining together to form a divine body that possessed the power to annihilate everything. His surging aura was like a divine might, and a multicolored light flashed, coiling around him. An even more terrifying power erupted forth from him, frenziedly enveloping Zi Daoyang. Qin Wentian lifted his left hand and blasted out, wanting to destroy everything with a single punch. Zi Daoyang coldly snorted. The violet palm imprint abruptly separated from Qin Wentian's God's hand. Boundless violet light transformed into an ancient violet cauldron that blasted out. The sound of the cauldron reverberated through the air, shattering the attack. "Roar!" Little Rascal roared in rage, his voice shaking the heavens and earth. His entire body seemed to be clad in a king's armor, and resplendent runes interweaved on his sharp claws as he abruptly blasted out, forcing Zi Daoyang back. "You do have some strength." Zi Daoyang retreated 1,000 meters away and stared ahead. Stretching out his hands, boundless violet light converged into a gigantic cauldron that was so heavy that it could crush everything. The ancient cauldrons were inscribed with countless runic inscriptions, and violet light cascaded down from them. It was as though they contained a supreme power that could crush everything in their path. "Careful." Nam Huang Yunqi spoke in a low voice. Zi Daoyang's attacks had always been extremely terrifying. Now that he was truly enraged, his attacks would definitely be even more terrifying. Rumble, Qin Wentian's body expanded once more. This time around, his body grew to over 100 meters, even larger than the gigantic cauldron. In addition to the unexcelled runic light circulating around his body, he was like a true existence that could shock the world. He was like a divinity that descended from the ancient world. His eyes were incomparably demonic, containing an inextinguishable flame. His gaze swept over the battlefield. He saw the experts from the Violet sect fighting against the Qin sect. Xiao Lingyue was leading a group of geniuses to pin down Qing'er. His god's hand continued to transform, and on his gigantic palm, a heavenly hammer formed from incomparably complicated runic inscriptions appeared. A boundless suppressive light radiated forth, as though a boundless might was channeled into the heavenly hammer in his palm. Qing'er, get out of the way! Qin Wentian roared. An instant later, an intense spatial energy radiated from Qing'er, enveloping her. The two of them seemed to have a tacit understanding. Qin Wentian lifted his heavenly hammer and abruptly smashed it down in a certain direction. At this moment, Qin Wentian's physique was incomparably gigantic. With the heavenly hammer in his hand, he smashed down, covering the entire battlefield. As long as he willed it, he could attack anywhere he wanted. At the instant the heavenly hammer slammed down, Xiao Lingyue and the other geniuses all felt a chaotic torrent of energy gushing forth, enveloping the entire space. Xiao Lingyue inclined her head only to see the heavenly hammer blotting out the sun. It contained an immortal might that transformed into law energy, causing her countenance to turn pale. How terrifying was the power of this strike! With a loud roar, boundless frost energy gushed forth from Xiao Lingyue, sealing everything in ice. With her at the center, the entire space around her was about to be frozen. Frost unceasingly extended up into the sky, and at the same time, the light of law energy also shot up into the sky. Not only her, the geniuses around her all unleashed their strongest attacks at the same time, blasting them up into the air. However, when the heavenly hammer slammed down, everyone only saw the power of their attacks shattering apart. When one's strength reached an extreme, it could destroy everything. Let alone the fact that the heavenly hammer didn't only contain tyrannical strength, it also contained an incomparably terrifying suppressive might. Not only that, the heavenly hammer was shrouded in a pure white holy light, capable of destroying everything in its path. Zi Daoyang's countenance stiffened when he saw this scene. His silhouette abruptly dashed out like a bolt of lightning. Numerous violet cauldrons blasted out, all of them exuding an unexcelled might as they collided with the descending heavenly hammer. The countenances of Xiao Lingyue and the others turned pale. Just as the heavenly hammer was about to smash down, numerous violet cauldrons appeared, colliding against the terrifying heavenly hammer. A heaven-shaking explosion rang out, so loud that even the eardrums of the spectators were in pain. Several beams of light appeared in the sky, slamming into the earth with the speed of lightning. Sizzling sounds rang out as numerous fissures appeared on the ground. Those violet cauldrons were all destroyed, and Qin Wentian's heavenly hammer was also forced back. The light from the god's hand that was holding onto the heavenly hammer trembled intensely. Qing'er's silhouette flickered as she appeared beside Qin Wentian, radiating terrifying spatial fluctuations. Not only that, there seemed to be a mysterious energy enveloping Qing'er's body. Azure Lotus Sacred Cannon. Zi Daoyang could sense the might radiating from Qing'er. He stared at Qing'er and spoke, "Qing'er, there's no way for you to control this cultivation art now. Every time you use it, you will have to endure immense pain. I don't have the heart to fight against you. Why must you use the Azure Lotus Sacred Cannon to fight against me?" Qin Wentian's large eyes flashed with a strange light. He lowered his head and stared at Qing'er below. In the previous battle, Qing'er had also used the Azure Lotus Sacred Cannon, causing her strength to surge explosively. Only after the three of them joined forces did they manage to injure Mo Xia. But according to what Zi Daoyang said, Qing'er's usage of the Azure Lotus Sacred Cannon would actually injure herself? Qing'er sensed Qin Wentian's gaze. She inclined her head and stared at Qing'er. Her eyes were clear as crystal, and she faintly replied, "It's fine." Nanfeng. Qin Wentian knew that Qing'er wouldn't admit to it. He involuntarily turned his gaze to Qing'er. The Azure Lotus Sacred Cannon is an ultimate art of the Chongqing the Great. It's extremely mysterious, and it's rumored that activating the Azure Lotus Sacred Cannon would cause one's strength to surge explosively. As for the side effects, I've never heard of it before. After all, only those closest to the Chongqing the Great understand the Azure Lotus Sacred Cannon. Nam Huang Yunxi transmitted her voiceover. You're right. Uncle Chongqing views my father as an elder brother. I naturally know what kind of cultivation art the Azure Lotus Sacred Cannon is, Zi Daoyang spoke. He stared at Qin Wentian. You aren't worthy for Qing'er to fight for you, Qing'er. Qin Wentian's large eyes flickered with a hint of gentleness, as well as guilt. Was this really the case? It's really fine. Qing'er revealed a rare smile when she looked at Qin Wentian. That gentle smile in her eyes seemed to contain boundless emotions. Nam Huang Yunxi, who was at the side, couldn't help but feel moved in her heart when she saw this scene. She didn't know what story the daughter of the Chongqing the Great, Princess Qing'er, had experienced exactly with Qin Wentian. But one thing was certain, their relationship must be extremely deep. Nanfeng, Qing'er, little rascal, the three of you surround him. I'll control the entire battlefield. No one will be able to interfere with your battle. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at Zi Daoyang, his eyes gleaming with a terrifying coldness. The might of his constellation could suppress the heavens as numerous divine-like figures radiated boundless light. At the same time, an incomparably terrifying sword might radiate it from Qin Wentian's left hand. The sword Slaughter constellation appeared in the air above his left hand, and a gigantic sword that could annihilate everything appeared in his left hand. With a heavenly hammer in his right hand and a gigantic sword in his left, boundless runic light circulated around his body, as though he had already forged a marvelous physique. Right now, Qin Wentian had transformed into a true god of war, able to multitask. Every step he took caused the earth to tremble as cracks unceasingly extended out in all directions. The members of the Violet sect and Qin sect, who were in the midst of battle, glanced at Qin Wentian as shock filled their hearts. What sort of character was this Qin Wentian exactly? It was as though he always had an inexhaustible number of trump cards. Right now, he was like a god of war that had descended from the heavens. The terrifying aura radiating from him seemed to be able to sweep away everything. I'll fight with you. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke. After which, a red light shot up into the sky as the silhouette of an ancient phoenix radiated from her body. A mysterious and ancient aura gushed forth from her, causing her aura to grow stronger and stronger. The red light expanded unceasingly, wanting to blot out the sun, engulfing everything in its path. Nam Huang Yunxi stepped out, standing in the air as her aura continued to soar. As the number 3 ranker in the Immortal Ascension rankings, Nam Huang Yunxi had never displayed a strength that could contend against Zi Daoyang. In fact, she was far from being able to match up to Zi Daoyang. However, those who truly understood the Nam Huang clan would know that Nam Huang Yunxi wasn't in her strongest state. The rankings of the Immortal Ascension rankings were based on combat prowess. After Qin Wentian and Qing'er displayed their incomparably tyrannical strength, they were still ranked number 4 and number 5 respectively. Nam Huang Yunxi was still the number 3 ranker. This wasn't a random ranking, it was a recognition of Nam Huang Yunxi's strength. Boom! A deafening sound rang out as the entire sky changed color. Nam Huang Yunxi seemed to be in an independent world. Red light enveloped the heavens and earth as numerous ancient phoenixes cried out in unison. A resplendent glow circulated around her body, resembling a phoenix armor, causing Nam Huang Yunxi to appear incomparably holy. Nanfeng, you actually want to make an enemy out of me as well? You even used the ultimate arts of the Nam Huang clan as well as the power of your phoenix blood to fight against me. Zi Daoyang's expression sank as he stared at the numerous powerful opponents before him. The number 3, number 4 and number 5 rankers on the Immortal Ascension rankings were in their most powerful combat forms. In addition, there was also a powerful demonic beast. The terrifying might radiating from them instantly suppressed Zi Daoyang's aura. There seemed to be no chance of victory in this battle. At the very least, this was the case for this battlefield. It's not honorable to join forces against you. However, you are the number 1 ranker in the Immortal Ascension rankings, and your strength is truly stronger than mine. If you retreat, my Qin sect is willing to call a truce. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke. Although she was incomparably powerful, she was magnanimous and was willing to admit that her strength was inferior to Zi Daoyang's. If the two of them fought one-on-one, the loser would definitely be her. But things were different now. The three of them were fighting in their most powerful combat forms, and the loser would definitely be Zi Daoyang. Chapter 962. Zi Daoyang could sense the auras of the three experts in front of him, as well as the berserk demonic beast. He could faintly sense that there was a high possibility that he would lose this battle. However, did he really have to give up on this battle and leave? He was Zi Daoyang, the son of Zidi, the number 1 ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings. There was no one who could surpass him, yet he wanted him to give up on this battle? I'm willing to accompany you in this battle, Zi Daoyang coldly stated. Zi Daoyang had his own pride, the pride of being the number 1 ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings. Earlier, he was the first to arrive at the Underworld Mountains. If he had borrowed the power of a powerful divine weapon, he would have long since subdued Little Rascal. However, he didn't. As the number 1 ranker of the City of Ancient Emperors, he was confident that he could rely on his own strength to defeat Little Rascal. This wasn't foolishness, it was the pride of being the number 1 ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings. Most of the top-notch geniuses had their own pride. Qing'er Namhuang Yunxi and Little Rascal respectively took their positions, surrounding Zi Daoyang. Qin Wentian's gigantic body stood there proudly, controlling the entire battlefield. Fight! Zi Daoyang roared. Violet light towered up into the sky, converging into a violet palm imprint that blasted out, aiming for Little Rascal. However, Little Rascal's sharp claws slammed out, and boundless runic light flashed. The claws seemed to contain an incomparably terrifying might, and directly slammed into the violet palm imprint, destroying it. A lotus light screen shone on Zi Daoyang's body as boundless spatial energy cascaded downwards, enveloping him. Qing'er's countenance was ice cold. She stabbed out with a finger, manifesting boundless spatial swords that directly pierced through the air. Zi Daoyang waved his hands as his divine light constellation shone with a resplendent light. He circulated the Thousand Autumns Emperor art, and Qing'er's killing energy slammed into the formless light screen, imprinting runes on it. After which, the spatial swords directly shot back towards Qing'er. Ordinary attacks are useless against Zi Daoyang. His Thousand Autumns Emperor art can directly reflect them back. Nanfeng Yunqi spoke. Right now she was perfect and flawless, incomparably holy. Behind her, numerous ancient phoenixes let out shrill cries, and abruptly, a supreme beam of light soared up into the sky, transforming into a beam of fiery light that could annihilate everything. It directly blasted out from her, blasting towards Zi Daoyang. The beam of fiery light that could incinerate everything slammed into Zi Daoyang. Zi Daoyang's countenance changed. A violet shield abruptly appeared in front of him, seemingly indestructible. However, the beams of light transformed into numerous phoenix swords that slashed down frenziedly. The violet shield bore the brunt of the destructive might of the blazing flames as it gradually turned red. After which, a deafening sound echoed out as the violet shield completely exploded. How powerful! This kind of attack is too terrifying. Those flames that can incinerate everything are like sharp phoenix swords, containing the power to incinerate everything. Nanfeng Yunqi, with just a single attack, can already defeat countless geniuses in the City of Ancient Emperors. The hearts of the spectators trembled when they saw this attack. Zi Daoyang circulated his ultimate Violet Saint Immortal art to the limits, borrowing the power of the heavens. Violet Qi rose from the east, and his entire person was shrouded in violet light. He stretched out his palm, manifesting an incomparably terrifying violet palm imprint that blasted towards Namhuang Yunqi's blazing flames. The two of them collided violently, and the violet palm imprint pushed forth, wanting to blast towards Namhuang Yunqi. Qin Wentian's terrifying god's hand once again smashed downwards, shaking the heavens and earth. The light from the suppressive annihilation constellation cascaded onto the god's hand, causing an incomparably heavy pressure to bear down on the god's hand. Zi Daoyang lifted his other hand and blasted it towards the heavens, covering the sky with a single palm. Rumble! An earth-shattering boom rang out as the attacks of the two collided together. Even the earth was trembling from the impact. The power of the collision was too terrifying. In the air, the golden silhouettes that seemed capable of suppressing everything descended, guarding the space above Zi Daoyang. Beams of light intertwined, forming a dazzling diagram in the air. Zi Daoyang inclined his head and could faintly sense a terrifying energy congregating above his head. "Go over and help," Xiao Lingyue coldly commanded. Xiao Lingyue coldly snorted. She could sense Zi Daoyang's current predicament. The combined might of 4 powerful experts was simply too overwhelming. Even Zi Daoyang would find it hard to defend against them. She led several experts and rushed out, only to see the gigantic sword in Qin Wenqian's left hand directly slashing towards Xiao Lingyue. A beam of sword light slashed down, causing Xiao Lingyue's countenance to drastically change. She retreated, staring at the gigantic body of Zi Daoyang. It was as though she wanted to use the gigantic sword in her left hand to isolate Zi Daoyang from the battlefield, preventing others from interfering. Zi Daoyang roared. His body soared up into the air, only to see Qin Wenqian's heavenly hammer smashing down once more, bringing with it a towering runic light. It was like the hammer of a divinity, containing the might of a war god. Zi Daoyang's body was forcefully smashed back. Although Qin Wenqian's violent attacks weren't strong enough to injure Zi Daoyang still couldn't break free from this predicament. He was actually trapped here. Nam Huang Yunqi stepped forward. Her ancient phoenix shadows slashed out frenziedly. Numerous phoenix shadows slashed out, containing a heaven-shaking might that could shake the heavens and earth. Qing Er's immortal slaying diagram was unleashed, capable of annihilating everything as it swept towards Zi Daoyang. Little Rascal's body was like a bolt of lightning, occasionally rushing in front of Zi Daoyang and abruptly unleashing an attack. The golden silhouette manifested an incomparably terrifying picture scroll. Zi Daoyang only felt that the power of his constellation was being sealed. The runes of light cascading down from the heavens cascaded down onto his constellation, as well as his body. This caused him to feel as though he was shouldering the weight of the heavens on his shoulders, and a sense of helplessness welled up in him. Zi Daoyang can't hold on any longer. He's going to be defeated. The people from the Violet sect and Qin sect felt their hearts trembling when they saw this scene. If it was a one-on-one fight, none of Qin Wenqian's group would be a match for the number 1 ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings, Zi Daoyang. But if they joined forces, Mo Xie had been injured back then. And now Zi Daoyang seemed to be on the same level. This can't go on. Zi Daoyang was trapped by the attacks of 4 experts. The power cascading down from the heavens seemed to be able to seal his combat prowess. The longer this dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. Zi Daoyang's eyes turned violet as he stared at Little Rascal's gigantic body. Abruptly, he directly gave up on defending against the attacks from all directions. Just as Little Rascal was about to rush towards him, he dashed out with extreme decisiveness. Boom! Nam Huang Yunqi's attack directly blasted onto Zi Daoyang's body. His entire body was enveloped in violet light, yet he still groaned in pain from the impact. Qing Er's attack similarly slashed down on his body, tearing apart the layers of protective light. However, at this moment Zi Daoyang didn't seem to care at all. His palms blasted out as violet runic light illuminated the heavens, grabbing towards Qing Er. Another thunderous boom rang out. Little Rascal's attack was shattered. The gigantic palm covered in violet runic light directly grabbed onto Little Rascal's body. A terrifying black light flashed, transforming into a vortex that frenziedly sucked in the energy within Little Rascal's body. Let go! Qin Wenqian's heavenly hammer smashed over. Zi Daoyang lifted his palms and retaliated, yet the heavenly hammer directly shattered it and slammed into Zi Daoyang's body, causing him to cough out a mouthful of blood. However, his palm still held onto Little Rascal tightly. Even though Little Rascal had fallen to the ground, he didn't let it go. Inclining his head, his violet eyes stared at Qin Wenqian in the air, as a terrifying will could be seen flickering within them. With a cough, Zi Daoyang coughed out a few more mouthfuls of blood. Evidently, that attack had caused him to be heavily injured. Roar, roar! Little Rascal let out a heaven-shaking roar. Qin Wenqian's countenance turned ashen. The heavenly hammer in his hands vanished as he pressed his finger downwards. The god's hand blazed with flames, resembling a divine sword that could devour the light of the heavens and earth, capable of killing everything in the world. His finger pressed downwards, aiming for Zi Daoyang. At this moment, Zi Daoyang's countenance changed. A terrifying energy circulated in the air, breaking through the immortal might. Zi Daoyang mustered all his strength and gave up on Little Rascal. Both his palms blasted out towards the sky as the energy in his body resonated. It was as though a violet-colored divinity had appeared in the form of that finger. Puchi! A beam of light flashed as the god's hand was destroyed. Zi Daoyang's attack was completely shattered by the sword might of that finger. At the same time, the sword slammed into his body, shattering the violet-colored divinity's silhouette, as well as his violet-colored defensive physique. Borrowing the power of the rebound, Zi Daoyang frantically retreated. Terrifying fissures appeared on the ground, but even so, a bloody wound still appeared on Zi Daoyang's body. Fresh blood flowed from his wounds as a wave of destructive energy gushed into his body, containing a heaven-shaking sword might. Qin Wentian's body returned to its normal size. The god's hand vanished, and his aura fluctuated. However, his spirit was still fighting. Right now, by borrowing the power of the god's hand, he was actually able to unleash the might of the immortal vanquishing swordplay. However, the amplification wasn't as shocking as before, allowing him to jump levels to kill his enemies. Right now, he was at the boundary between mortal and immortal. This strike had heavily injured Zi Daoyang, the #1 ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings. Kill your way over. The experts of the Violet sect rushed over. The geniuses of the Qin sect naturally resisted, and the battle between the two sides continued without end. Many experts were injured. Zi Daoyang took out a medicinal pill and swallowed it. His violet eyes stared at Qin Wentian. In the city of ancient emperors, this was the first time he had suffered such a huge disadvantage. At this moment, a vast aura gushed over from afar. The gazes of everyone turned in that direction, and their eyes narrowed. Zi Daoyang wasn't surprised by the situation. He stared at Emosia's approaching silhouette as a cold light flashed in his eyes. I initially thought that I would be able to win this battle directly, and I didn't even bother to play any tricks. Who would have thought that I would be injured here? Zi Daoyang naturally expected that Emosia would appear. Since he hadn't appeared until now, there was only a possibility that he was waiting for an opportunity. Emosia had always been ruthless and was extremely dangerous. Right now, both the Violet sect and the Qin sect were exhausted, yet Zi Daoyang had failed to defeat Qin Wentian and the others. Now that Emosia had led the experts of the Evil Palace over, he undoubtedly had the upper hand. Chapter 963. Emosia's dark golden eyes stared at Zi Daoyang. The two of them had also obtained one of the 9 inheritances of the Brahma Heavenly Emperor. They both understood that this was insufficient to unleash the invincibility of the Brahma Heavenly Emperor in the immortal realms. Only by continuously absorbing the power of the inheritances would they be able to grow stronger. Hence, a battle was destined between Zi Daoyang and Emosia. It was just that right now, neither of them had any thoughts of fighting head-on. Their priority now was to seize the demonic beast beside Qin Wentian, as well as Zhanping's inheritance. Since you're injured, just leave this place. Emosia glanced at Zi Daoyang. His dark golden eyes gleamed with a cold light, giving off an extremely dangerous aura. His aura gushed forth, resembling a devil as darkness tribulation energy circulated around him. His eyes were filled with coldness. Those from the Violet sect, retreat with me. Zi Daoyang was also an extremely decisive person. With a wave of his hand, the geniuses of the Violet sect gathered together and retreated, opening up the battlefield. Daoyang Gij. Xiao Lingyue stood beside Zi Daoyang as she asked in a low voice, "Are we going to give up just like that? I've underestimated the others. Even if I didn't obtain the inheritance, I only have myself to blame. If I continue to participate, Emosia might even act against our Violet sect. Why don't we just let them fight it out?" Zi Daoyang slowly spoke, "Emosia and I will have a battle sooner or later. Both our inheritances shall belong to one person." The experts from the Evil Palace surrounded the geniuses of the Qin sect. Emosia's eyes turned to Qin Wentian, only to see that the god's hand had already been destroyed. Earlier, he had used the immortal vanquishing swordplay to heavily injure Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's combat prowess had already been weakened, and that demonic beast was also injured by Zi Daoyang. Emosia's main opponents were only Qing and Namhuang Yunxi. "Qin Wentian, the situation is not good for us. We should consider retreating." Nam Huang Yunxi transmitted her voice to Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian silently nodded his head. The situation was indeed getting more and more disadvantageous for them. The battle with the Violet sect had already caused them to suffer severe injuries, and now the Evil Palace had arrived as well. With Mo Xie and the Evil Palace at their peak, they had the absolute advantage. People from Dongshangshan Gate, I let you off last time, but you didn't listen to my advice and joined the Evil Palace. Qin Wentian turned his gaze onto Gusu Tianqi and the others as a cold light flickered in his eyes. His gaze was so cold that it actually caused the experts of the Dongshangshan Gate to feel a sense of pressure. Fear could be seen in their eyes. Back then when Kei Tianyi was killed, fear still lingered in their hearts. I recruited them into the Evil Palace to give them a chance to take revenge. Mo Xie spoke with cold arrogance, pointing his finger at Little Rascal. Hand that vile beast over to me and I can spare you all this time. Roar. A low-sounding roar rang out from Little Rascal's mouth, as a baleful light flashed in its eyes. Dream on. Qin Wentian icily spoke. Since this is the case, I shall act myself then. Mo Xie's constellation flashed as Calamity Demon appeared in the air. He stabbed out with his finger, causing a dark golden tribulation light to erupt forth, containing boundless might. It was akin to a terrifying dark golden flood dragon, rushing towards the experts of the Qin sect. Every single attack contained a fearsome destructive might. Behind Nanfeng Yunxi, an ancient phoenix let out a long cry. Numerous phoenixes flapped their wings as a towering red light erupted forth. Numerous fiery phoenixes rushed out, clashing against the dark golden flood dragon, causing earth-shattering rumbling sounds to echo out. Zi Daoyang retreated from afar and watched the battle, but he didn't leave immediately. At this moment, Zi Daoyang's eyes suddenly turned as he stared behind him. His eyes abruptly gleamed with sharpness, only to see that over there, a vast army was actually rushing over, exuding an intense baleful aura. Since when did such a power appear in the city of ancient emperors? Zi Daoyang stared at Xiao Lengyue. Could this be a power that appeared when he comprehended the Brahma Heavenly Emperor's inheritance? No. Xiao Lengyue shook her head. She didn't understand as well. At this moment, the experts of the Evil Palace and Qin sect who were about to engage in battle also halted. Mo Xie's eyes flickered with a cold light as he glanced over. It's the experts from the immortal sects. Our reinforcements have arrived. At this moment, an expert from the Dongshangshan Gate exclaimed in shock. Gusu Tianqi's eyes flickered. He also discovered that the Dongshangshan Gate's army had arrived. There were over 300 of them, and all of them were from the Dongshangshan Gate. Was this an order from his master, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor? If not, it was impossible for such a powerful force to be dispatched to the city of ancient emperors. People from the Dongshangshan Gate? Everyone soon reacted, as their gazes all landed on Qin Wentian. Back then, Qin Wentian had killed the disciple of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, Kei Tianyi, in front of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. It seemed like the people from the Dongshangshan Gate were here for revenge. Back then, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor had truly lost a great deal of face. Seems like this immortal emperor couldn't swallow this humiliation, to think that he was actually humiliated by a junior. Seems like His Majesty has given the order. We can regroup and take revenge now. From within the Evil Palace, an expert from the Eastern Sage Immortal sect stepped out, wanting to join up with the other geniuses from the Eastern Sage Immortal sect. However, he only saw Mo Xie grabbing out with his dark golden claws, directly grabbing onto his neck. Mo Xie coldly spoke. You've already joined my Evil Palace, yet you actually betrayed me? Mo Xie. I'm originally from the Dongshangshan Gate. That expert shouted. Gotcha. Mo Xie's dark golden palm twisted, directly breaking the neck of that expert. This caused the hearts of the experts from the Dongshangshan Gate to tremble as they felt a chill run down their spines. Their gazes were all ice-cold as they stared at Mo Xie. Mo Xie glanced at them as he spoke. If the Dongshangshan Gate wants revenge, I won't obstruct you. However, the city of ancient emperors is different from the outside world. You guys have already joined my Evil Palace, and if you want to leave, you have to obtain my permission first. If you choose to defect to another power, I'll kill you all without mercy. Who are you? At this moment, the army of the Dongshangshan Gate had already arrived. They stared at Mo Xie as they coldly asked, Who are you? Palace Lord of the Evil Palace, Missouri Xia. Mo Xia coldly replied. Don't think that your Dongshangshan Gate has many experts. If you dare to infringe on my benefits, believe it or not, I will make sure that none of you from the Dongshangshan Gate will be able to leave this place alive. You are truly arrogant. The experts from the Dongshangshan Gate all had cold expressions on their faces. You guys can try. The tribulation light radiating from Mo Xia towered up into the sky. Both sides stood in confrontation, but one of them spoke. This time around, we are here on the orders of His Majesty to kill Qin Wentian. As for other matters, we can talk about them after we kill Qin Wentian. That's fine as well. Killing Qin Wentian is an order from His Majesty. Let's allow him to be arrogant for now. These experts from the Dongshangshan Gate were divided into 4 camps, surrounding Qin Wentian and the members of the Qin sect. Qin Wentian's expression was extremely unsightly to behold. Today was truly one disaster after another. Not only did they have to face the attacks of the Violet sect in Evil Palace, but now the army of the Dongshangshan Gate had also appeared. This Dongsheng Heaven Emperor actually sent an army of over 300 people to kill their way into the city of ancient emperors because he killed Ke Tianyi. How ruthless! The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor had already steeled his heart to take his life, only to see at this moment, one of the 4 great camps of the Eastern Sage Immortal sect soared up into the air, attacking the 81 experts. Intense light radiated from them as astral energy filled the skies. These 81 experts formed a formation with the person in the lead as the heart of the formation. He stood at the highest point, and the might unleashed by the other experts all gushed towards him. In the air, a supreme might radiated from him. Formation. The eyes of everyone narrowed. They inclined their heads and stared at the sky only to see an area of tens of miles in radius. Boundless runic light cascaded down from the sky, transforming into strands of golden runic light that enveloped the entire space, locking down this entire space. The runic lights that descended contained an incomparably terrifying killing power. They were like numerous sword patterns that contained the might of destruction. Su Rushua turned her gaze over, after which her long whip abruptly lashed out, directly slamming into the light screen. The terrifying destructive light directly tore apart her long whip. At that instant, the sword inscriptions that appeared seemed to be able to destroy everything, resembling layers of immortal ripples. In addition, the light screen was still expanding. The 81 experts joined forces to lock down this area, not allowing Qin Wentian to escape. Seems like that old dog Eastern Sage is truly ruthless in order to kill me. Qin Wentian's countenance turned cold. In another camp, an expert in the lead spoke with cold arrogance. His Majesty has given the order. Qin Wentian, Jun Mengchen and Zi Qingxian shall be killed without mercy. Princess Qing'er is not to be harmed. As for the other experts of the Qin sect, it's fine as long as we don't kill them. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor clearly had his own considerations when he gave the order. Qin Wentian and the other 2 had rejected his offer to take him as their master, humiliating him in front of everyone. Hence, they were brought away by the Emperor Qianbian. The 3 of them had to be killed, and Qing'er couldn't be touched. As for the others, this was the city of ancient emperors. It was very hard to guarantee that there wouldn't be any descendants of immortal emperors. Hence, for the sake of caution, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor didn't kill them, but he could heavily injure them. If not, if he killed so many immortal emperors in one go, even the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. Qin Wentian, we won't use any immortal rank treasures to kill you. We will abide by the rules of the city of ancient emperors. But if you take the initiative to use immortal rank treasures, all of us will use our immortal rank treasures to annihilate you. Another person spoke. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor had given a death order. This time around they were here to kill Qin Wentian. Hence they had made ample preparations. Qin Wentian wouldn't be able to escape even if he had wings. He would die for sure. Mo Xia stood at the side, his dark golden eyes flashing with interest. He didn't expect that even before he acted, these people from the Dongshangshan Gate already wanted to kill Qin Wentian. Not only that, the might of this formation formed by the 81 experts was extremely terrifying. As expected, people from the same sect had an advantage. They could cultivate the grand formation Dao. Chapter 964. Qin Wentian and the experts of the Qin sect all had heavy expressions on their faces. Before this, they had already expended a great deal of energy in the battle against the Violet sect. Qin Wentian had even used the immortal vanquishing swordplay, and although he wasn't at the end of his rope yet, it was already extremely difficult for him to fight at his peak. Under such circumstances, it was even more difficult to deal with the evil palace, let alone the Dongshengshan Gate. "Let me bring you away." Qing transmitted her voice to Qin Wentian. "The disciples of the Qin sect are all here. If we flee, the people of the Dongshengshan Gate would definitely vent their anger on them and humiliate us." Qin Wentian replied. Although the people of the Dongshengshan Gate didn't dare to kill the descendants of immortal kings and emperors, they dared to humiliate them. This was the city of ancient emperors, and as long as they didn't kill the descendants, the elders of the Qin sect wouldn't interfere. This was a battle between them. "Do it." That disciple of the Dongshengshan Gate spoke again. Emosie's eyes were fixated on Little Rascal. Little Rascal was his true prey. To him, Emosie, the grudge between him and Qin Wentian could be settled later. Today, he came here with only one purpose, to obtain 1/9 of the Brahma Heavenly Emperor's inheritance. Once he obtained 2/9 of it, he would be even stronger. Rumble. At this moment, the experts from the other 3 camps of the Eastern Sage Immortal sect all gathered together, forming into battle formations. In an instant, their auras engulfed the heavens and earth, boundlessly tyrannical as the wind and clouds changed color. In one of the battle formations, the silhouette of an ancient demon could be faintly seen, resembling an ancient primordial devil ape, incomparably violent. Every time its eyes opened and closed, a supreme might could be felt. Another group of people gathered together. Around them floated numerous ancient cauldrons, with countless runic inscriptions engraved on them. The aura that cascaded down from them seemed to be able to crush the heavens, suppressing everything. Each and every one of these cauldrons seemed to originate from the primordial era. The countless runic inscriptions made these cauldrons exude a simple and unadorned aura, as though they had existed since the beginning of time, exuding boundless might. The last battle formation was the most casual. It was as if they were 9 people in one formation forming 9 battle groups. They were flexible and varied, able to deal with all kinds of sudden battles. Their power was equally terrifying. There were 81 people in each of the 4 great battle formations. There were existences that could seal the void, peerless experts with unparalleled offensive abilities, and there were also nimble and ever-changing battle formations. They could be said to be perfect with no flaws at all. Even without the Evil Palace and Violet Sect's experts, the 324 of them were more than enough to threaten the experts of the Qin sect. After all, although the Qin sect had 3 peak-level combatants, they were all fighting independently, and there was no way for them to form a super-powerful battle formation like the Evil Palace and Violet sect. The Dongshengshan Gate sent them here to deal with the Qin sect and kill Qin Wentian. It definitely wasn't a moment of rashness. For immortal emperors, they would always consider everything thoroughly, and wouldn't allow any mistakes to happen. Rumble. The experts from the Dongshengshan Gate's primordial devil ape battle formation launched their attacks. Incomparably ferocious devil palms blotted out the sun, slamming down from the heavens. A supreme might bore down on everything, shattering the void as it directly slammed towards Qin Wentian. Qing'er's silhouette flickered as she appeared in front of Qin Wentian. Terrifying spatial energy gushed forth from her as the Azure Lotus Sacred Cannon was unleashed. Boundless spatial energy engulfed the area as she blasted out the immortal slaying diagram, aiming for the sky. However, the palm imprint was simply too gigantic, directly shattering the immortal slaying diagram. The palm of the primordial devil ape battle formation contained boundless runic light, as well as many different types of profound intents within, capable of destroying everything. Qing'er's countenance was ice-cold. The members of the Qin sect gathered together and unleashed their attacks into the air. For a time, the atmosphere in the air became incomparably violent as attacks of various colors blasted out, slamming into the terrifying gigantic palm imprint. Finally, with a thunderous boom, the gigantic palm imprint shattered apart. However, numerous ancient cauldrons that could suppress the ancient eras descended towards them. Each and every one of these cauldrons exuded an unparalleled might. It's impossible for a single person to tear apart such a battle formation. Not only that, when the members of our Qin sect attacked together, the strength of our attacks were too scattered. We aren't like a battle formation that can gather all our strength together, resulting in a qualitative transformation. Hence, the effectiveness of our attacks is limited. This battle is bound to end in defeat. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke in a low voice. The red light from her body towered up into the sky as numerous ancient phoenixes blasted towards one of the cauldrons. Finally, one of the cauldrons exploded apart. However, the other ancient cauldrons continued rushing over with boundless might. Nam Huang Yunxi alone was far from enough. Qin Wentian naturally understood the meaning of Nam Huang Yunxi's words. Using a battle formation to fight was equivalent to combining the strength of a group of experts to unleash attacks that were 10 times or even 100 times stronger. The stronger the battle formation, the more powerful it would be. And among them, even if one of them had 5 or 6 times the combat prowess of their opponents, they would still be shattered if they encountered an attack that was 10 times or 100 times stronger. Even if all 10 of them attacked at the same time, because their attacks were scattered, the moment they encountered an attack that was 10 times stronger, they would instantly be destroyed. The attacks of the 10 of them would also be destroyed time and time again. Scattered attacks couldn't be gathered together, causing the might of their attacks to multiply by several times. Hence, they had no way to defend against the attacks of a battle formation. Qin Wentian stepped out and blasted his palms towards one of the ancient cauldrons. However, he was ruthlessly forced back as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. He was no longer the same as before. Although the immortal vanquishing swordplay wouldn't be able to threaten his life like before, it was still sufficient to cause his combat prowess to plummet. Numerous ancient cauldrons frenziedly blasted towards Qin Wentian, aiming to take his life. The experts of the Qin sect gathered in front of Qin Wentian, helping him to defend against the incoming attacks. However, all of them felt despair in their hearts. Their Qin sect would surely be defeated in this battle. Emosia didn't act at all. Before this, he sat on the mountain and watched the tigers fight, waiting for the battle between the Violet sect and the Evil Palace. As expected, both sides were heavily injured, and when it was time for him to act, the army of the Dongshangshan Gate actually rushed over. This caused an expression of interest to appear on Emosia's face. In this case, it seemed that he wouldn't need to waste too much effort to capture that demonic beast. Most probably, the members of the Qin sect wouldn't be able to hold on much longer. Brothers of the Qin sect. At this moment, Qin Wentian roared, his voice reverberating through the air. For this battle, we are being surrounded by 3 powers, and our defeat is certain. However, if we continue to fight like this, my brothers of the Qin sect will surely be humiliated here. Are you all willing to do so? Or are you all willing to disregard everything and fight for your lives? Qin Wentian's voice shook the air. Just like what Qin Wentian said, if they continued to fight, they would surely be defeated. If they could block the forces of the Dongshangshan Gate and the Evil Palace, even if they didn't dare to kill them, they would still injure them and rob them of their treasures. Hence, the Qin sect was faced with a choice. If they continued to fight like this, they would surely be defeated and humiliated. Or, if they fought for their lives and unleashed their immortal-ranked weapons, they might be able to salvage the situation. With immortal-ranked weapons, everyone's strength would skyrocket, and they might still have a sliver of hope. But if they used immortal-ranked weapons in a group battle, the danger was too great, and there was a high possibility of losing their lives. Fight! A voice rang out, replying to Qin Wentian. Let's fight for our lives. How can we endure the humiliation of the Dongshangshan Gate? The geniuses of the Qin sect replied. Even before Qin Wentian could say anything, he could already sense waves of immortal might gushing forth. The experts here all took out their immortal-ranked weapons, and for a moment, an even more violent aura gushed forth, containing boundless might. Among these people, the one who was the most indifferent was none other than Qin Wentian. He didn't care about killing. The enmity between him and the Dongshangshan Gate was already one of irreconcilable enemies. It was just that now, the Qin sect was implicated as well. Qin Wentian felt some guilt in his heart as he continued, "Brothers of the Qin sect, kill your way out of the battlefield. It's fine for us to give up on this battle. We can always take revenge in the future." "What about you?" someone asked. "Don't worry, I still want to slaughter everyone from the Dongshangshan Gate." How can I bear to die in battle? Qin Wentian spoke in arrogance. His left hand was wielding the sky rock runic bone, while his right hand took out the demon sword. His palm slashed across the surface of the demon sword, causing it to hum as a towering aura gushed forth from it. Boom! A terrifying might gushed forth from the demon sword as it expanded in size. The shadow of a great rock appeared, soaring through the air. The sky rock runic bone trembled, and after that, Qin Wentian saw a shocking scene. The demon sword shone with boundless runic light, transforming into a fearsome suction force that directly swallowed the sky rock runic bone. The experts from the Dongshangshan Gate all took out their immortal ranked weapons. Their countenances were extremely unsightly to behold. This wasn't a situation they wanted to see. If they took out their immortal ranked weapons, they would no longer be able to form battle formations. In the face of immortal ranked weapons, the might of a battle formation would be much weaker. Unless they broke through to the immortal ranked realm and formed immortal ranked battle formations. A battle between immortal ranked weapons would definitely be a chaotic battle, and their lives would also be in danger. This was something they didn't want to see the most. Who would have thought that Qin Wentian would actually initiate a battle between immortal ranked weapons? Emosia furrowed his brows. This battle was somewhat unexpected. By initiating a battle between immortal ranked weapons, it would naturally be a life and death battle. It was extremely rare to see so many geniuses from the city of ancient emperors fighting to the death. The demon sword before Qin Wentian hummed, trembling even more intensely. Sword qi engulfed the heavens and earth. Only to see Qin Wentian stretching his hand out and grabbing onto the hilt of the demon sword as he spoke in a low voice. You said that you hated the fact that the heavens are too low. Now that you have already broken through to the immortal realms, I will also step into the immortal realm. I hope you won't disappoint me. As the sound of his voice faded, Qin Wentian slashed out with his sword. Instantly, the demon sword swept through the air as a supreme beam of sword light tore apart the void. The experts of the Dongshangshan Gate all took out their immortal ranked weapons to defend. A beam of light that could lacerate everything shot up into the sky, directly tearing apart the barrier created by the battle formation in the void. One of the experts of the Dongshangshan Gate took out a gigantic yellow bell that shone with dazzling runic light. The bell floated in the air as a terrifying sound wave engulfed the area, causing Qin Wentian's body to shudder. It was as though there were bolts of lightning coursing through his body, causing him to tremble uncontrollably. This was the threat of immortal ranked weapons. All of them were celestial phenomenon ascendants. They had yet to break through to the immortal realm. An attack from an immortal ranked weapon could threaten their lives. In fact, there might even be a scenario where both sides died because both sides had no way to defend against the power of the immortal ranked weapon. Luckily, these people didn't control immortal energy, and had no way to unleash the full might of the immortal ranked weapon. If not, their situation would be even more dire. Chapter 965. Qin Wentian brandished the demon sword and abruptly stepped into the air. Resplendent immortal light erupted forth from the demon sword, resembling an immortal river from the 9 heavens that gushed upwards. Numerous beams of sword light tore through the air, transforming into the shadow of a heavenly rock. With a thunderous boom, the gigantic ancient bell was blasted into the air. The person controlling the bell coughed out a mouthful of blood as his heart trembled violently. Clearly, he had no way to control the bell. A pair of phoenix wings appeared on Nam Huang Yunqi's body, as boundless immortal light circulated around her. She was like a goddess from the 9 heavens, unexcelled in this world, incomparably beautiful. Busy. The phoenix wings expanded, enveloping Qin Wentian as well. A moment later, Qin Wentian's body shimmered with a fiery immortal light, as a layer of immortal armor appeared around him. Let's disperse their formation first. Nanfeng Yunqi spoke. A moment later her phoenix wings flapped, arcing through the air in an incomparably resplendent arc. She brought Qin Wentian with her as they directly landed before the ancient ape formation. A feather of the ancient phoenix that contained a towering might appeared in her hands. This feather contained an incomparably powerful might. She waved it in front of her as a red light engulfed the entire space. Many people in the city of ancient emperors were descendants of immortal kings and emperors, but there was still a disparity between them. The higher one's status was, the stronger the treasures they possessed. Nam Huang Yunxi was a descendant of the Southern Phoenix matriarch of the Nam Huang clan. She naturally would have many powerful treasures on her. Qin Wentian naturally wouldn't miss out on this opportunity. The demon sword in his hand slashed out violently as a destructive sword might gushed forth. The experts of the Eastern Sage Immortal sect all took out their immortal-ranked weapons to defend, forming a fearsome screen of immortal light. However, their formation was still broken apart by the force of the attack. "Brothers of the Qin sect, kill your way out," Qin Wentian roared. The experts of the Qin sect all used their immortal-ranked weapons to attack in different directions. In just a short instant, the entire space was thrown into chaos as destructive currents filled the air. A pitch-black devil's saber appeared in Emosie's hands. He was like a devil as he stepped out, dashing towards Little Rascal. Qing'er stepped on the void leaf and instantly appeared beside Little Rascal. A powerful screen of void light enveloped Little Rascal. Little Rascal's body shrank as it leaped into Qing'er's embrace like an ordinary pet. Boom! Emosie's devil saber slashed downwards, and a black tribulation light descended from the heavens. It was as though doomsday had arrived, and the heavens and earth turned gray. The terrifying devil saber slashed into the screen of void light, penetrating it bit by bit. Boundless destructive energy ravaged everything within, wanting to destroy everything, only to see Qing'er stretching out her palm as a golden lotus bloomed. As the petals opened and closed, a resplendent light radiated forth, destroying the energy of the devil saber. The void leaf retreated, arriving beside Jun Mengqian and Zi Qingxian as it spoke. "Enter." Their silhouettes flashed as they entered. Emosie furrowed his brows, feeling that something was amiss. This daughter of the Evergreen Immortal sect had a void-type treasure. It would be extremely difficult for them to chase after her. On the other side, although Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi both had powerful immortal-ranked weapons, they couldn't defend against the overwhelming number of enemies. Numerous attacks rained down on them, forcing them to retreat unceasingly. Cracks appeared on the protective screen of void light, as though it would shatter at any moment. The void leaf shuttled through space, directly enveloping Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi within it. After that, it transformed into a beam of light that soared up into the sky. "Stop him!" A thunderous roar rang out. Countless immortal-ranked weapons blasted towards the protective screen of void light, causing the space within to tremble violently. Qing'er, Qin Wentian and the others were all trembling violently. Qing'er even coughed out a mouthful of blood as her countenance paled. Boom! An intense beam of light shot out as the void leaf directly vanished from this space. It was as though it had truly accomplished the void shuttling, appearing in the air in the blink of an eye. "Come up." At this moment, an expert from the Dongshengshan Gate shouted. An ancient void sail appeared as the experts from the Dongshengshan Gate all stepped onto it. Rays of celestial light blossomed from the ancient void sail and shot forward crazily. They were like rays of light that locked onto the spatial leaf in front of them. After that, they also turned into rays of light and chased after the leaf. Emosie's countenance changed. The devil's saber in his hand flew out, and with a stomp of his foot, he landed on it. Instantly the devil's saber shot out explosively, resembling a black bolt of lightning. The experts from the Qin sect all froze when they saw Qin Wentian and the others drawing the army away. After which, Su Rushua commanded, "Let's retreat." As the sound of her voice faded, the experts from the Qin sect all departed. Without Emosie to lead the evil palace, there was no one else to fight against the experts from the Qin sect. Zi Daoyang's eyes flickered with uncertainty when he saw this scene. As expected of a spatial treasure, he didn't know if the experts from the Dongshengshan Gate would be able to catch up to them. "Daoyang Gage, what's in the depths of the underworld mountains?" Xiao Lingyue asked Zi Daoyang. Zi Daoyang's gaze froze. Ever since the inheritances of the two ancient emperors appeared, everyone thought that the secrets of the underworld mountains had been revealed. No one bothered to think about what would be in the depths of the underworld mountains. This was the mindset of humans. Since the inheritances of the two ancient emperors had appeared, the secrets of the underworld mountains had already been revealed. Who would still want to continue exploring? However, Xiao Lingyue's words caused Zi Daoyang's heart to tremble. Could there be other reasons for the battle between the two ancient emperors? Could there be other secrets hidden in the depths of the underworld mountains? Staring at the direction in which Qing'er and the experts from the Dongshangshan Gate were heading, Zi Daoyang couldn't help but wonder if there were others who had entered the depths of the underworld mountains before. Could there be other secrets hidden in this vast mountain range? Daoyang Gij, Xiao Lingyue called out. Zi Daoyang stared at her as he replied, Lingyue, I have to temporarily recover from my injuries before preparing to enter the depths of the underworld mountains. I've never been there before. Okay, I'll accompany Daoyang Gij then, Xiao Lingyue called out. She didn't seem like the cold and arrogant woman she was back when she was the sect leader of the Xiao sect. This caused the disciples behind her to sigh in their hearts. No matter how arrogant a woman was in front of Zi Daoyang, how could she not be so obedient? This was the treatment given to people with different statuses. On the void leaf, Qin Wentian held onto Qing'er's hand. When he saw the blood trickling down the corner of Qing'er's mouth, he stretched out his hand and gently wiped it away. I'm fine. Qing'er spoke in a melodious voice as she smiled at Qin Wentian. She was incomparably beautiful. If Qing'er was like this during normal times, Qin Wentian would definitely be overjoyed. But right now there was only rage in his heart. The 300 disciples of the Dongshangshan Gate, he would definitely make them pay the price. Qin Wentian lightly replied. His hand was tightly holding onto Qing'er's dainty hand as he stared ahead. The vast mountain range seemed to stretch on endlessly, desolate and desolate. Let alone humans, not even birds or beasts could be seen. The city of ancient emperors was extremely mysterious. There were ruins left behind by ancient emperors, and there were also ancient emperors contending for supremacy here. There were simply too many secrets hidden in this vast land. They're still following us. At this moment, Nam Huang Yunqi spoke. Qin Wentian turned his head and stared in the distance. There he saw a gigantic void sail moving as fast as lightning, locking onto the void leaf. Even if he used spatial shuttles to traverse a vast distance, he still couldn't shake it off. This should be a treasure prepared by the Dongshang Heaven Emperor for the disciples of the Dongshangshan Gate. It's precisely to prevent you from fleeing. Nam Huang Yunqi stared at Qin Wentian. Since the Dongshang Heaven Emperor gave the order to kill Qin Wentian, how could he allow Qin Wentian to walk out of the city of ancient emperors alive? Seems like if I don't die, it would be equivalent to smacking Eastern sage's face. In that case, not only must I live well, I must ensure that the disciples of the Dongshangshan Gate won't be able to leave this place alive. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with a terrifying coldness. As long as he couldn't kill him this time around, he would slowly play with these disciples of the Dongshangshan Gate. The void leaf continued shuttling forward, traversing an unknown distance. Time flowed by, but they were still on the mountain range, as though there was no end to this space. The depths of the underworld mountains are actually so vast? Qin Wentian's heart trembled. Back then, when they traveled from the underworld mountains to the inner regions of the city of ancient emperors, it only took them a short period of time to reach their destination. This vast mountain range was many times more vast compared to the inner regions of the city of ancient emperors. Maybe there's something in this vast mountain range. Nam Huang Yunqi spoke in a low voice. The group of them continued shuttling through the void, and it was unknown how far they had traveled. However, the disciples of the Dongshangshan Gate were still chasing after them. Within this vast mountain range, Qin Wentian and the others spent a total of 9 days shuttling through it. Even if they were in the inner regions of the city of ancient emperors, it was unknown how many regions they had traversed. Such a vast region was truly terrifying. What's that ahead? At that moment, the crowd saw an illusory figure appearing in the sky in front of them. It was a little blurry. They continued forward and finally, as they got closer, their vision gradually became clearer. They saw a city in the sky floating high up in the air. It was like a city that towered over the heavens. It was a place where deities resided. It had supreme might. And below them there was a passageway that led upwards, leading to that floating city. That's... Nam Huang Yunqi's beautiful eyes flashed with shock. A floating city had actually appeared in the city of ancient emperors. She instantly recalled some of the ancient records regarding the city of ancient emperors. It was rumored that during ancient times, the ancient emperors would fight for supremacy here. It was said that the reason for this was because of some sort of qualification. And the most crucial part of the ancient records was the floating city. This mysterious floating city was unknown to the later generations, and they had no way of confirming its existence. However, from the looks of it now, the records in the ancient records were all true. There really was a floating city here. And this was also the main reason why the ancient emperors gathered in the city of ancient emperors. Do you know what this place is? Qin Wentian asked Nam Huang Yunxi. An antiquity city. The ancient emperors gathered in the city of ancient emperors because of this place. No one knows what's inside, Nam Huang Yunxi mumbled. The eyes of Qin Wentian and the others all gleamed with sharpness. Chapter 966. The Antiquity City. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness. He was also filled with curiosity about the city of ancient emperors. This city contained the ruins of ancient emperors, and without permission, even immortal kings and emperors wouldn't be able to enter. It was truly terrifying. When the Emperor Qianbian sent him here, a black dragon appeared, shaking the entire sea region. This black dragon seemed to be the protector of the city of ancient emperors. Why would such a terrifying demon emperor protect this place? Whose orders did he follow? The city of ancient emperors was located in the central region of the immortal realms. Countless geniuses gathered here, generation after generation. Also, he faintly heard that this city of ancient emperors didn't only have a single level. There were other regions as well. All of these proved how extraordinary the city of ancient emperors was. Should we go or not? Qin Wentian's eyes flashed as he asked. Naturally, the antiquity city appearing before our eyes is extremely rare. The people from the Dongshangshan Gate would also descend. I'm afraid this place would soon appear in the vision of the geniuses in the city of ancient emperors. We mustn't miss out on this opportunity. Nam Huang Yunqi's eyes blazed with passion. As a descendant of the Southern Phoenix matriarch, how could she not go and investigate the antiquity city? Right? Qin Wentian nodded. He too had an intense desire to explore the antiquity city in the air. The void leaf shuttled through the air, heading towards the ancient pathway leading to the immortal palace in the sky. This pathway was akin to an ancient great Tao, and at the instant Qin Wentian and the others descended, boundless runic light cascaded down, exuding a supreme might. Qing Er's countenance changed. She immediately kept the void leaf as the group of them landed on the ancient pathway. What's going on? Qin Wentian's expression froze. This pathway seems to contain law energy. It doesn't allow the void leaf to travel through it. Qing Er spoke in a low voice. The group of them observed the pathway. It was like a path of pilgrimage leading to the heavens. Let's go up. Qin Wentian and his companions followed this ancient path that led up to the sky. Boundless runic light illuminated the ancient path, and there seemed to be a strange energy enveloping them. This energy seeped into their bodies, containing the formless might of the great Tao, cleansing their bodies. Qin Wentian only felt that his body was suddenly filled with a powerful energy. It was as though all the astral energy he had consumed and his injuries were completely healed in an instant. His aura became even more exuberant. The others also discovered the abnormality. Even little rascal's eyes flickered with a bright light. What a strong power! Qin Wentian was shocked. His whole body was full of power, and he had recovered to his peak. Behind them, the people from the Dongshangshan Gate chased after them. Their ancient sails floated in the air as they inclined their heads and stared at the sky. Their hearts trembled. There was actually an ancient city in the city of ancient emperors. The supreme might it exuded made it seem like a divine residence, a place where divinities resided. Qin Wentian and his companions who were on the ancient path halted their steps. There seemed to be a strange might sweeping over them, giving Qin Wentian a sense of danger. He stopped them and spoke in a low voice. This path has healed our injuries, but since this is the antiquity city, it wouldn't be so easy to enter. There might be dangers ahead. Everyone be careful. Everyone nodded. Powerful auras gushed forth from them, enveloping their bodies as they advanced cautiously. Qin Wentian took the lead and stepped out. But after a few steps, a surge of might from the great Tao bore down on him. His body trembled violently as a supreme tribulation might bore down on him. His body felt like it was about to shatter as a destructive might ravaged his body. Calamity-facing path. An ancient voice rang out in the ears of everyone, causing their hearts to tremble. This ancient path was the calamity-facing path. If one wanted to enter the Antiquity City, they would have to face the tribulation first. Qin Wentian's body was clad in a sky devil armor. Boundless runic light circulated around him, giving him an indestructible body. The terrifying might bore down unceasingly, wanting to destroy everything, unceasingly attacking every part of Qin Wentian's body. Rumbling sounds rang out from his body as his blood surged, preparing to face the calamity on the ancient path. Nam Huang Yunqi's entire body was bathed in flames. A pair of phoenix wings covered her as she swept through the air. Little Rascal let out a heaven-shaking roar, transforming into a baleful greater demon as demonic qi towered up into the sky. Jun Mengchen was clad in an emperor armor, unexcelled in the world. He carried the blue sky on his back, resisting the tribulation might. Zi Qingxuan's body shimmered with the light of a divine falcon as she screeched, exuding terrifying might. Hua Taishu directly coughed out a mouthful of blood. His physique was the weakest among these people. He had the samsara eyes and incomparably resolute will, and was proficient in illusions. However, his physique was extremely weak. When he faced the tribulation, his body couldn't withstand it and he coughed out blood. Can you endure it? Qin Wentian stared at Hua Taishu as he asked. No worries. Hua Taishu's eyes flickered with the samsara light, incomparably resolute and filled with a fearsome tenacity. He had once experienced such tempering in the world of reincarnation, and it wouldn't be able to destroy his will. Right. Qin Wentian nodded. He continued forward, facing the tribulation. He didn't expect that the path leading to the Antiquity City would be so difficult. The destructive might unceasingly gushed into Qin Wentian's body. Although he had already condensed a unique physique, he still felt that his body was on the verge of collapse. It was as though his body was about to be crushed by the destructive particles. What a terrifying force! Qin Wentian resisted the destructive might, accompanying them step by step. At the back, Hua Taishu had already coughed out an unknown amount of blood. He was the one in the most miserable state. Next was Zi Qingxian. The divine falcon light around her was on the verge of shattering, and her body was covered in blood. But when she saw Qin Wentian and the others still resolutely leading the way, an intense determination flashed in Zi Qingxuan's eyes. She gritted her teeth and didn't utter a single sound. After Zi Qingxian roamed the immortal realms together with Qin Wentian, the people around Qin Wentian were all extremely outstanding geniuses. She became the weakest, and this was the knot in Zi Qingxuan's heart. She didn't want the distance between them to grow further and further apart. Hence, her will had to be even more resolute. Qing'er wasn't in a good state either. Her body was protected by a magnificent lotus, but she was still injured several times. Nam Huang Yunqi was the most beautiful among them. Her defense was originally already extremely powerful, and after being shattered several times, her body felt as though it was on the verge of exploding. However, at this moment, an incomparably tyrannical energy seemed to be awakening within her body. Her entire body shone with a towering blood-colored light as the cry of an ancient phoenix echoed out, reforming her body. Evidently, this was the innate talent of Nam Huang Yunqi. The blood of the ancient phoenix allowed her to undergo nirvanic rebirth. Behind them, the experts of the Dongshengshan Gate also followed behind. There were many of them, and all of them were demon-level geniuses selected by the Dongshengshan Gate from the various prefectures. But if they were to fight against Qin Wentian's group alone, there wouldn't be many who could be mentioned in the same breath as them. Hence, only a few tens of people could advance. The others could only choose to retreat after trying, feeling reluctance in their hearts. Not only that, those tens of people were also hesitating. If they followed Qin Wentian's group to Void City, would they still be able to defeat Qin Wentian's group? However, the scene in front of them was too shocking. A deity had appeared in the void. How could they miss it? Several days later, Qin Wentian's group endured incomparably intense pain, but they still maintained their vigilance, not allowing their will to dissipate. If their will dissipated, they would definitely be killed by the tribulation energy. There were already 2 people from the Dongshengshan Gate who died on the path of tribulation, shaking the hearts of others. This path was incomparably dangerous, let alone the fact that this was merely the entrance. If they wanted to reach Void City, they had to pass through this path of tribulation. 9 days later, Qin Wentian's group finally arrived at the end of the path of tribulation. Without the destructive energy, Qin Wentian and the others were all incomparably fatigued. Zi Qingxian even directly fainted, collapsing on the ancient path. As for Hua Taishu, he sat powerlessly on the ground, his entire body drained of energy. His eyes slowly closed. He had completely relied on a single breath to persist till here. But at this moment, the light from the ancient path cascaded down, allowing Qin Wentian to feel a surge of recovery energy, restoring his body once more. After that mysterious energy circulated through his body several times, Qin Wentian felt that his physique was even stronger than before. Hua Taishu also gradually recovered his strength. Zi Qingxian also woke up. They walked past a screen of light, and a moment later, a flash of light appeared before their eyes as they stood in front of a primordial city. This place was ancient and majestic. This place was sacred and not to be profaned. Inclining his head, Qin Wentian stared at this primordial city as a sense of reverence appeared in his heart. He even had a faint thought of prostrating himself in worship. Such a feeling involuntarily surfaced in his heart. Qin Wentian turned his head and glanced at the people of Dongshengshan Gate, who were still on the path of tribulation, as a cold light flashed in his eyes. This time around, the people of Dongshengshan Gate didn't manage to kill him. These people would definitely pay a heavy price. Are these all ancient demonic beasts? Nam Huang Yunqi mumbled, staring at the carvings of demonic beasts on the walls of the primordial city. These carvings were extremely vivid and lifelike, causing one to fall into a trance just by looking at them. These demonic beasts included Taotai, Hundun, Qiongqi, Taowu, etc. All of them were supreme greater demons, incomparably baleful and tyrannical. The gate of the primordial city was wide open, but no one could see the situation inside. Only an intense energy fluctuation could be felt from within, and nobody knew what would happen if they stepped inside. I'll go in first, you guys wait outside. Qin Wentian spoke. No. Qing'er immediately replied. Her slender hands directly grabbed onto Qin Wentian's hand as her watery eyes stared at Qin Wentian, worried for his safety. I'll go in as well. Qing'er spoke in a low voice. Little rascal and I have a telepathic connection. After I enter, he'll be able to sense what I've experienced. If there's no danger to my life, you guys can enter again. Qin Wentian spoke. Qing'er shook her head, but she still held onto Qin Wentian's hand, not letting go. This caused Qin Wentian to have a bitter smile on his face. Qing'er spoke again. You go, I'll go as well. Okay, let's go in together then. Qin Wentian couldn't do anything to Qing'er and could only agree. After that, he held onto Qing'er's hand and walked out of the gate. Instantly, they felt as though they were shuttling through a world of nothingness. This world of nothingness was like an ancient world, filled with countless terrifying greater demons. With a booming sound, Qin Wentian and Qing'er appeared on a battle platform in a world of nothingness. Rumbling sounds shook the heavens and earth as two greater demons appeared before them. This primordial city was actually protected by greater demons. Chapter 967. What is this place? Qin Wentian surveyed his surroundings. It was as though he was standing on an ancient battle platform in a world of nothingness. Two greater demons appeared before him, exuding terrifying might. One of the greater demons was none other than the primordial ferocious beast Swanee. It had the face of a human and the body of a tiger, exuding a fearsome aura of resentment. It was like the incarnation of death, giving off the impression of an extremely vicious greater demon. Just a single glance at it would cause people to feel terror. As for the other greater demon, it was a gigantic demon with two horns. It resembled a berserk ox but had dragon horns on its head. Its hooves were incomparably thick and sturdy, and it stood there like a human. Its sharp claws seemed to be able to tear humans apart. Qing'er, be careful. Qin Wentian's aura circulated. Two greater demons appeared. Could it be because of him and Qing'er? The Swanee brandished its trident. It was as though it was born from the convergence of boundless death chi. Its silhouette flashed as a ferocious might shook the entire battle platform, instantly transforming this space into hell. The trident of death blasted out explosively as the energy of hell manifested, causing a blood-colored glow to envelop the entire battle platform. Qing'er's body was enveloped by a pure and holy lotus. Spatial light radiated from her, gushing towards the Swanee ahead. At the same time, she stabbed out with her finger, causing spatial energy to transform into sharp swords that slashed towards the Swanee. Rumble, the incomparably tyrannical trident smashed over, destroying everything in its path. It was like a symbol of death. Qin Wentian's god's hand appeared as a terrifying light circulated around him. When he stepped out, the heavens and earth rumbled as boundless runic light circulated in the air. His constellation flashed, causing the entire battle platform to become incomparably resplendent. Lifting his palm, Qin Wentian blasted out with God's hand. The gigantic palm imprint contained a fearsome might. The Swanee's trident slammed into it as a supreme destructive might gushed forth, shattering the gigantic palm imprint. Qin Wentian could clearly feel the ferocious might exuding from his opponent. Boom! At this moment, the gigantic body of the greater demon with dragon horns stepped out, causing the entire battle platform to tremble unceasingly. Both his hands grabbed out, instantly appearing before Qin Wentian, wanting to grab hold of Qin Wentian and tear him apart. Qin Wentian lifted his god's hand and blasted out in rage. The hands of the greater demon with dragon horns contained boundless might, forcibly breaking apart God's hand. After that, the two gigantic hands grabbed Qin Wentian. The power contained within it was unblockable. This was the power of a greater demon. Roar! A thunderous roar rang out. The greater demon wanted to tear Qin Wentian's body apart. However, rumbling sounds rang out as Qin Wentian's body grew incomparably gigantic. His entire body flowed with boundless light as white runic inscriptions flowed around him, enveloping his entire body. That fearsome greater demon's might didn't manage to tear Qin Wentian apart, but it still caused Qin Wentian to feel incomparable agony, as though his body was about to be torn apart. Roar! The greater demon let out a heaven-shaking roar. His incomparably baleful eyes stared at Qin Wentian, radiating an ancient baleful aura. The runic light on Qin Wentian's body circulated frenziedly, containing a fearsome suppression might that gushed forth. That greater demon actually retreated a step. After which, Qin Wentian's god's hand transformed into the sharp talons of a great rock, capable of lacerating everything. Terrifying runic light flashed as God's hand slammed into the gigantic body of the greater demon. With a deafening boom, the chest of the greater demon was torn apart. Roar, roar! The greater demon let out a heaven-shaking howl. Its incomparably baleful palm slashed out once more, grabbing towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's god's hand could suppress everything. With a lift of his palms, there was nothing it couldn't destroy. One man and one demon collided madly, the impact shaking the heavens and earth. The illusory battle platform shook violently. Qin Wentian discovered that the cultivation base of this greater demon should be the same as him, while the cultivation base of the Swanee was the same as Qing. It was as though the two of them had appeared and were fighting against each other on this illusory battle platform. At this moment, a buzzing sound rang out. On the illusory battle platform, the silhouettes of Nam Huang Yunxi and the others appeared one after another. And at the same time they appeared, a few more fearsome greater demons walked out from the void as a wave of ferocious might swept over everything. Boom boom! These greater demons instantly lunged out, killing their way towards Nam Huang Yunxi and the others. Nam Huang Yunxi's body instantly erupted with terrifying flames. She who was clad in phoenix wings was incomparably beautiful as the shadow of the ancient phoenix appeared. With a wave of her hands, the phoenix shadow roared as it rushed out, fighting against a greater demon at the peak level of celestial phenomenon. This greater demon was a black-colored ferocious bird of prey, and its entire body was shrouded in a terrifying aura of death. The entire illusory battle platform was in an uproar. Even Little Rascal had attracted the attention of a greater demon. He too transformed into a greater demon and fought against the greater demon. Such a chaotic battle isn't our advantage. Let's join forces and fight together. The Southern Phoenix sect and I will be the main attackers. Qing'er and Hua Taishu will restrict us while Qingxian, Mengqian and Little Rascal will engage in guerrilla warfare. Qin Wentian roared. A moment later, the 6 humans and 1 demon retreated to a certain location. Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi stood in the middle. Qing'er stood beside Qin Wentian while Hua Taishu stood beside Nam Huang Yunxi. Jun Mengqian, Zi Qingxian and Little Rascal stood on the left and right respectively. Qing'er's black hair fluttered in the wind. Boundless void energy radiated from her body, transforming into millions of runic lights that formed a prison, enveloping the space in front of her. Hua Taishu's samsara eyes were incomparably demonic. The demonic beasts at the 8th level of celestial phenomenon were instantly dazed as they howled in frenzy. Qin Wentian's physique was incomparably gigantic. A heaven-shaking long spear appeared in his god's hand, formed from countless runic lights. The tip of the spear shone with a white light as demonic qi towered up into the sky, exuding a supreme suppressive might that could destroy the heavens and earth. Jun Mengchen, Zi Qingxian and Little Rascal attacked from the side, directly launching their most violent attacks. These greater demons all had incomparable fleshly bodies. Ordinary attacks wouldn't be able to harm them in the slightest. Towering flames erupted forth from Nam Huang Yunqi's body as she directly rushed towards the greater demons. Qin Wentian's 100-meter-long body directly stabbed out with his spear. His target was an 8th-level ascendant greater demon. That greater demon was currently in a state of frenzy, and when the long spear shot over, it let out an earth-shattering howl. However, the destructive spear shone with dazzling runic light, directly penetrating through the greater demon's body, ignoring all defenses and piercing right into it. The destructive energy instantly gushed into the greater demon's body, shattering everything. With a thunderous boom, that greater demon was directly transformed into nothingness, vanishing from sight. What a powerful attack! Nam Huang Yunqi's countenance stiffened, but her attacks didn't slow down at all. Qin Wentian's god's hand once again unleashed a terrifying attack, piercing through another greater demon and directly destroying it. Even if it was a supreme greater demon on the same level as him, if it was struck by his terrifying attack, it would still be instantly killed. Although these greater demons were powerful, they were still fighting in a chaotic manner and didn't have any teamwork. Under the joint attacks of Qin Wentian and the others, all of them were annihilated one after another. Finally, all of them vanished from the void battle platform. These greater demons are so powerful. If they didn't cooperate and fought alone, only peak-level experts would have a chance to defeat them. Nam Huang Yunqi spoke in a low voice. Qin Wentian and the others nodded in agreement. Luckily we came in early. If we came in after senior brother Qin and the others finished their battle, it would be even more difficult for us to fight against them. Jun Mengchen spoke in a low voice. As the sound of his voice faded, the void battle platform was suddenly enveloped by a bright light. The intense light enveloped all of them, and with a thunderous boom, the entire battle platform vanished from sight. Qin Wentian and the others also vanished along with it. When Qin Wentian and the others reappeared, they were already standing on the ground. Their feet seemed to have been nailed to the ground, not moving at all. They stared at this space as great waves of shock rose in their hearts. This was the true city of the ancients. Under the starry sky, even after countless years, they could still feel the majestic aura of the city of the ancients. However, other than being ancient, the city of the ancients was also dilapidated, as though it had gone through severe damage. Over the countless years, it was likely that many powerful figures had come here and even fought here. Not far away from them, a splashing sound rang out. Qin Wentian and the others turned their gazes over and saw a pool of blood. This pool of blood seemed to have sensed their auras as the blood within actually started to churn. Faintly, they could see countless blood-colored runic inscriptions flashing within, giving off a fearsome feeling. This is the blood of a powerful expert. It hasn't dried up for countless years and remains here, turning into a pool of blood. It still possesses terrifying power. Nam Huang Yunqi stared at the blood pool as her heart trembled. This blood pool, for those with weaker cultivation bases, can even be used to cleanse their bodies. It's just that I don't know if their bodies and bloodlines would be able to withstand the power of the blood pool. After stepping into the immortal foundation realm, one would be able to reconstruct their body. Let alone immortal emperors. Their entire bodies contained boundless essence energy. Their bones were rune bones and their blood contained terrifying bloodline power. At that level, unless they were destroyed by someone stronger, their body would never rot and their blood wouldn't dry up. Little Rascal's silhouette flashed as his gigantic body rushed into the blood pool. Roar! A fearsome roar erupted from his mouth as the blood pool in his body began to boil. Terrifying blood-colored runes gushed into his body, wanting to refine his entire body. His gigantic body was enveloped in an intense blood-colored light. A terrifying whirlpool of energy appeared. Little Rascal opened his mouth as traces of blood-colored energy were actually sucked into his mouth. He's using the inheritance of the Brahma Heavenly Emperor to devour the energy within the blood pool. Nam Huang Yunqi's eyes flashed. Little Rascal's physique was extremely terrifying, yet it felt as though it was on the verge of shattering apart. His entire body was enduring an incomparably fearsome pain as blood runes appeared all over his body. However, he still endured it, allowing the energy to corrode his body. After that, his body shone with a bright light, becoming even more crystalline. Little Rascal has also matured. A look of joy appeared on Qin Wentian's face. Little Rascal was gradually approaching maturity. Chapter 968. The group of them stood at the side, waiting for Little Rascal. Little Rascal's body continued to transform, as though he was reborn. His gigantic body exuded an even more fearsome aura, exuding the aura of a demon king. Nanfeng, your knowledge is vast. What sort of place is this antiquity city exactly? Qin Wentian stared at Nam Huang Yunqi as he asked. The Nam Huang clan was an extremely ancient and powerful clan in the immortal realms. After countless eras, the Nam Huang clan had many ancient scrolls that recorded the events of the ancient era. Hence, as a princess of the Nam Huang clan, Nam Huang Yunqi, her knowledge was extremely vast. Maybe it has something to do with the experts of the ancient era. This isn't something that I can come into contact with. Maybe the immortal emperors of the immortal realms would know some inside information. Nam Huang Yunqi spoke in a low voice. After all, she was still a junior. Although her cultivation base at the peak of celestial phenomenon wasn't weak, she had yet to become an immortal. In the immortal realms, she basically couldn't be considered anything. Hence, the Nam Huang clan wouldn't allow her to know too many ancient secrets. Qin Wentian didn't probe further. They waited for a period of time and Little Rascal finally walked out from the blood pool. His entire body seemed to have undergone a transformation. His muscles, bones, blood, and flesh were even more terrifying than before. Little Rascal howled in rage as his eyes gleamed with excitement. Let's go ahead and take a look. Qin Wentian spoke. The group of them continued moving forward. The antiquity city under the starry skies was ancient and mysterious. A broken saber was stabbed into the ground, exuding a terrifying devilish might. The surroundings of the broken saber were filled with a towering saber chi field that engulfed the heavens and earth, as though it could slash apart all existences. Qin Wentian and the others could only cast a glance at it from afar. The moment they neared it, they felt as though their bodies were about to be severed. Such a treasure had its own spirituality, they couldn't even get close to it, let alone take it for themselves. The broken saber whimpered from time to time, as if it was crying. Qin Wentian and the others walked far away, but they could still feel the sorrow of the saber. From afar, the sound of the seats being moved rang out. The sound wasn't loud, but it was exceptionally pleasing to the ears. The gazes of everyone turned towards a certain direction, and after that, their expressions froze. There was actually a celestial river there, and from the heavens there were beams of light cascading down. These beams of light were like liquid, yet also like boundless runic light, like a waterfall of flowing water, cleansing this entire world. The instant the beams of light landed on the ground, they vanished. Is this the heavenly river? Zi Qingshuan's heart trembled as they flew in that direction. Nam Huang Yunqi stared at the boundless runic light, as well as the waterfall of light that vanished the instant they landed on the ground. Her heart pounded rapidly as she felt her breathing getting hurried. Qin Wentian could sense the strangeness of Nam Huang Yunqi. He stared at her and asked, Nanfeng, do you know what this is? I've once seen such a scene in an extremely ancient text. However, it's merely a diagram, it's far from being as real as this. We've encountered a divine miracle. Nam Huang Yunqi's voice was filled with solemnity. In the legends, there's a divine light cascading down from the 9 heavens, cleansing and purifying the bodies of mortals. If I'm not wrong, this should be the legendary sacred luminance. The sacred luminance may seem liquid, but it's actually divine light. It exists in the void, there's no way to grab it or bring it away. The sacred luminance is able to cleanse the mortal body, causing one to undergo a transformation, stimulating their potential. The stronger one is, the greater the benefits they would have when encountering the sacred luminance. This is because stellar martial cultivators, as their cultivation base grows stronger, they would also be able to unlock their own potential, allowing them to be more flexible. Immortal emperors and immortal kings all have incomparably terrifying potential. If the sacred luminance descends upon them, they would undergo a transformation and become supreme immortal kings and emperors. Nam Huang Yunqi mumbled. She then sighed in admiration. Sadly, I can't bring it away. I have no way to bring the sacred luminance out. If not, the Nam Huang clan might even become the strongest power in the immortal realms. So terrifying? Qin Wentian's expression froze. This antiquity city actually had the sacred luminance. Sadly, it was located in the city of ancient emperors, and it was extremely difficult to find it. Qin Wentian's expression froze. To put it bluntly, if the sacred luminance appeared outside the immortal realms, it would definitely cause a huge commotion in the immortal realms. Nam Huang Yunqi's beautiful eyes stared ahead. To think that we would actually have such luck. Although we are only at the celestial phenomenon realm, and don't have the boundless potential of immortal kings and emperors, we are still at the stage of breaking through to the immortal realm. Now that we can bathe in the sacred luminance, it would be much easier for us to break through to the immortal realm in the future. Let's go up and give it a try. Jun Mengchen impatiently spoke. Be careful, the sacred luminance is a type of divine light. It's a legendary holy object. However, I don't know if there's any danger to it. It's best to be more cautious. Nam Huang Yunqi reminded. Qin Wentian nodded. Nanfeng is right. This is the legendary ancient holy light. Be careful. Everyone got closer as they spoke. The closer they got to the sacred luminance, the more they felt it to be divine. The sacred light cascading down from the sky. How powerful would it be exactly? It could even cause immortal kings and emperors to go crazy. I'll go in and give it a try. Qin Wentian spoke. His aura gushed forth as intense light circulated around him. After that, he took a step forward and directly rushed into the sacred luminance. Boundless runic light descended upon him, instantly engulfing Qin Wentian. A miserable shriek sounded out, causing Qing'er, Nam Huang Yunqi, and the others' expressions to change drastically. Especially Qing'er. Her face paled and her heart pounded. She was about to rush out to see Nam Huang Yunqi when Qing'er grabbed her arm and said, "Wait." Qing'er halted and stared ahead only to see the boundless light cascading downwards, corroding Qin Wentian's body. In just an instant, his perfect body was riddled with holes, as though he had no way to endure this primordial divine light. Be careful. The sacred luminance will destroy the original balance of your body. Qin Wentian roared. Nam Huang Yunqi and the others all had solemn expressions on their faces as they slowly walked forward. Qin Wentian stood in the air, bathing in the light of the sacred luminance. That unceasingly gushing energy into his body broke the balance of his body. It seemed that things weren't as simple as he had imagined. The sacred luminance could directly stimulate his potential. Basking in the light of the sacred luminance, he had to depend on himself for everything. Just this terrifying pain alone was sufficient to cause one's will to crumble, causing them to faint. Qin Wentian gritted his teeth as the energy in his body gushed forth frenziedly. After being destroyed, he was reborn. The power of the bloodline in his body surged as boundless astral energy transformed into a river of stars. The light of the sacred luminance seeped into his blood, into his bones. The others all stepped into the sacred luminance as they screamed in agony. Evidently, they had experienced the same thing as Qin Wentian. However, these people were all geniuses with extremely strong wills. They gritted their teeth and endured. If their wills weren't strong enough, this sacred luminance that could cleanse their body of essence would most probably turn into a deathly light that could take away their lives. Numerous silhouettes floated in the air, bathing in the light of the sacred luminance. Their bodies were convulsing unceasingly. One could tell that they were in extreme pain. However, all of them were extremely cautious. Even if they couldn't divert their attention, at the very least, they were able to protect their wills from being extinguished. This kind of pain persisted. Their bodies seemed to have been destroyed time and time again, and were reborn time and time again. Qin Wentian's consciousness looked into his body, only to see that there seemed to be a mysterious power within his bloodline. His blood was incomparably pure and the power of his bloodline was frenziedly roaring. His muscles and bones were even more terrifyingly resilient than before. His skin was as smooth as jade, as though it had undergone a transformation. His entire body was glowing with a mysterious light. Roar! An earth-shattering roar of rage rang out from within Qin Wentian's body, as though the shadow of a primordial demonic demon had appeared. It was extremely terrifying, enveloping Qin Wentian's body. There was also an incomparably mysterious pure white energy within. This energy was something that even Qin Wentian had never touched before. It was able to heal all injuries within one's body, and could even be reborn when one was on the brink of death. However, it also possessed a terrifying destructive power. It was impervious to all poisons, able to destroy all poisons. When used to attack, it similarly possessed a terrifying destructive power. These two types of energy were born together, circulating around Qin Wentian's body. A powerful suppressive force, as well as the energy refined by the fiend god body refinement art, gushed forth. These energies flowed through every part of Qin Wentian's body, gradually transforming into a mysterious runic light. Qin Wentian's entire body seemed to be engraved with runic inscriptions, resembling grains of divine energy. On the surface of his body, boundless runic light also flowed, unceasingly tempering his body. Rumble! Astral light erupted forth. Qin Wentian's 4 constellations appeared at the same time. Boundless runic inscriptions appeared on the surface of these constellations, especially the suppressive force. That golden body of Qin Wentian unceasingly radiated runic light, containing a supreme suppressive might within. After which the runic light landed on Qin Wentian's body, reshaping it. Qin Wentian's body was currently undergoing a shocking transformation. Other than Qin Wentian, Little Rascal's body was the second to undergo a transformation. He unceasingly let out heaven-shaking roars as his body grew larger and larger, exuding a baleful aura that towered up into the sky. Zi Qingshuan's condition didn't seem to be very good. She unceasingly coughed out blood, but she still gritted her teeth and endured. Her body seemed to be in danger of being destroyed at any moment. An expression of reluctance flashed in Zi Qingshuan's beautiful eyes. The sacred luminance was an ancient sacred object. It was an extremely rare opportunity for her to encounter it. However, if she couldn't withstand the baptism of the sacred luminance, how sorrowful would that be? She had to endure it no matter what. She had to. Although Zi Qingshuan's talent was slightly inferior compared to others, she was still a disciple of the heavenly talisman realm and had outstanding talent. However, she was still in such a state under the influence of the sacred luminance. From this, one could very well imagine that only those with heaven-shaking talent would be able to withstand this legendary sacred light. But once one withstood the baptism of the sacred luminance, their potential would be stimulated and they would undergo a transformation.